This episode of Race Brain Podcast is brought to you by Resolute Coffee. Resolute Coffee is happy to introduce the Crush It Club. With the Crush It Club, you get 4 5-ounce bags of coffee plus the Crush It Daily mug for just $35. So you can do a one-time purchase or subscribe and save for $28. And this is a great way to get introduced to the product. They have an expansive line that is always improving. I drink it every single day. I love it. I love this idea, getting more fun, new beans in front of the people. So if you are interested in that Crush It Club, check that link down in the bio. Resolute Coffee, Crush It Daily. All right, let's bring in the boys. Oh, yes. We are here. Race Brain Podcast. My name is Rich Ryan. Joining me, as always, is Brakken Crocker. We got Jack Bauer coming. Jack was great today. He's like, I'm going to be a little bit late. Start without me, but don't talk about anything that you guys would typically talk about until I get there. We're like, great, Jack. This is a perfect plan. So it's just me and BK here. What's up, dude?
That was hot right there. I felt like I was supposed to start spitting.
Dude,
I've never heard the intro live like that.
It hits different when it's live.
Oh my goodness. Mom's spaghetti.
Dude, BK's got bars, son. Do you got a rapper name? Just ready, locked and loaded?
I'm a mononym. I think just Brakken. Just
I thought it was I'm an homonym. What did you say?
I'm an homonym.
It's like, damn, it's just fire.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm an homonym. You know that I'm not a coffee drinker, but I buy coffee for Lisa.
Okay.
That's a good deal.
Does she like good coffee?
She likes McDonald's coffee with 4 cream.
So that's okay. That's not. I mean,
but anyway, I bought
worse.
the bags of coffee, 4 for $30. Took me aback a little bit there.
Mm-hmm. You definitely need it's going to come whole bean. So you need a grinder.
So you got to have the whole setup.
You got it, like a little bit. Not the whole setup. A little bit of the setup. Got that grind life? Nope.
I mean, I think we would if I were part of it.
Definitely. If you get in the coffee, you're going all in on coffee. You're going to have the whole get up.
Yep. I'm going to have this, but for coffee.
Yeah. Just different ways to make coffee behind you, which I would support.
Today.
What we got on there? Were those gray and orange ones?
That's the Reebok All-Terrain Super.
Those are good shoes?
No, but they work for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was one of the few people who was like, man, this Reebok deal is so good for shoes. Because they're not good, but they just fit me.
They have had a weird strategy. It's just like their strategy is just like inconsistency in terms of footwear production, right?
Across everything. Like sizing is inconsistent.
Oh,
Quality
really?
is inconsistent. What they put out and what they pursue, like the Float Ride Pro was going to be, they were one of the first people in the nitrogen infused game.
Right.
And they had a good foam going. And then they had this whole thing with space age / bra cup material for the heel counter on things. And then it just stopped. Like they just do things and then they don't do them anymore. And it's very strange.
And I think that's just like the main thing, especially when I was working in footwear. People would just be upset about change, even if it was progress. Mm-hmm. It's still like, oh, but this worked for me. I remember the 04 Pegasus, man, best shoe that ever existed. Still to this day. And but like whenever there's change in footwear, it's a problem. So the consistency year over year, it needs to be kind of like rolled out pretty slow. Mm-hmm. But for them, they're like, let's just try something else. See how this one goes.
You could give me a catalog of early 2000 Nike shoes only. That's all I could choose from, and I could do. Okay. I could live happily forever. You got the 04 pegs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are goated.
That's it.
You got Mayflies.
Didn't have a pair. Was that a racing fly? Was that
yeah,
racing?
it was good for like 100K. It was disposable. Okay. Then you had the Streaks.
Yep.
Streaks were great. You had the Skylon. You ever have the Nike Skylon?
No.
It was one of like the great lightweight trainers. So good. Okay. And then a little later, you had the Lunar Racers. Yeah. These are all neutral.
They're all neutral.
They were playing around with just one slab foam.
Mm.
like the Lunar Lawn or things like that. I loved it.
As Nike goes, like the whole industry goes as Nike goes. You know, they really do set the standard. There's a while there where their run specialty, and I don't even think their day-to-day trainers are really making that much of an impact on the market with run specialty. Like they do well in like big box stores, like like a Finish Line or Dick's Sporting Goods or something
Hagen
like that.
Vomero. That's all you need. Right?
That's really all you need. But most people are going to buy like the lower price point, not knowing what's what. I remember the Nike Frees were a problem. People were on the Nike Frees. Did you ever have a pair of those?
Oh yeah, that was my walk around shoe for years.
I had the OG one. I got like the first pair. I remember I read some article like Alan Webb was running in them, and it's like his foot got smaller because he got his feet got so strong. That was like the story that they were telling. I was like, damn, dude.
Wouldn't that be the opposite? You go to like barefoot style, your feet would get wider.
Probably wider for sure, but I think they like shrunk down a size, just like got like tighter.
Oh,
maybe the arch got built up.
Could be.
You know what I'm saying? It could work. It could be. That could be the case. Today we're not going to talk about shoes the whole time. We're going to talk about it a lot of the time as we wait for Jack Bauer, because he's the one who has all the information on everything. So things we're going to talk about today: we had Hyrox Birmingham this previous weekend. They had an interesting doubles race with that Hunter McIntyre was involved in. Then we have some updates on how the Spartan season is going to play out next year, and I don't really have a lot of the details. I didn't do a lot of research, I must admit, but it wasn't super clear to me. But do you have the info on that, or is Jack going to have the info on this as well?
Jack reigns supreme here. I did everything except watch the AMA.
Okay, let's wait.
I didn't watch the long form interviews, but I consumed everything that was readable.
Yeah, I read it at like with my like 80% attention. It needs like 100 for me to really have it sink in. That's not. I mean, for social media stuff, that's about as good as it's gonna get.
I even went and watched his MBD video on it. He had like a shorter 11-minute or something like that. Yeah,
that's good content from him. That's where it's really like breaking the news in video format's the way I kind of interact with his content. The point.
Matt, you did a good job on that.
Nice job, Matt. You can turn off Race Brain now.
Well, he also followed that up with a Race Brain insult to me.
Did he?
He's like, I don't have the attention span for your stuff. He said, and just think, no one out there wants to hear every thought of all three hosts. Just something to really think about.
It's like, no, Matt, that's just you.
There's probably a bunch of people that don't.
But the real ones are out here. So we appreciate you being on board. Dude, we got to try these on-cloud booms. I think we should give these a go.
Way back in the day, when I moved out to Colorado and I was getting beat up by the Descents, and I went to an actual running shoe store, which is very out of character for me, just to try on some. I'd never run Maximal, and so I was trying on Hoka's and thought, this is made for me. I love it. I love their.
What year are we talking about? This is like
oh no, this would be this would be like 14, 15.
14. I say like meaning like like 10 years ago, but that's not the case.
But there was a pair of Ons, and I tried them on, and they were so nice. And this was early with them. They weren't really even that much of a thing in the U.S., but this running store had them, and it came down to like a toss-up between the Ons and the Hokas. But I just thought the space in the cloud pods was going to get rocks in it. So that's the only reason I didn't get them. But even back then, I liked their feel.
It's an interesting concept when it comes to those like, do they call them pods? I'm not super locked into their vernacular. Remember. But it's a way to increase the like a horizontal cushioning as opposed to just like straight up and down. It's like you come at the ground at an angle, and like having those pods be out in front and like detached from the midsole a little bit is a way to increase that cushioning, I think, is the idea. These cloud booms don't really have those big pods on the bottom, which is going to be better for something like and that's one thing I don't see these Ons generally working for hybrid.
Right.
But these are kind of like breaking out of that character. Like, and what's worked really well for them is having that technology that is like visual, that works really well from an aesthetic standpoint. And the On, I think they're just called the Cloud. They are now just like the person's gym shoe who is going to go to the gym twice a week and just wants them to look
athleisure.
good, or just like, yeah, they're athleisure, exactly.
But they're also like, they're kind of like Hoka, where high-end clientele will just wear them as walk-around shoes. Now that
Yes.
dad shoes are trendy amongst the elites, like financially of the world, you'll see like millionaires walking around in Cliftons or On Clouds.
Right. There's a run specialty store in Philly that I would go into. There was like real sneakerhead stuff. They had a whole Hoka display, and it was just like their regular Mafates. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. It sucks
Now-
though, because it makes it hard. It drives the prices up for the rest of us who want to just like find them on clearance and running them.
That's the problem with these cloud booms, man. $289.99 on the website. That's like, I mean, $250's too much. But
Yeah.
$300 for a pair of shoes that I'm not even sure how long these are going to. I'm not even sure if these are going to work on the concrete.
That's the thing. If you can't touch the bottom in your hand, you're not going to know.
It looks not bad though.
No, it looks the part. I think I messaged you about these 6 months ago when the prototype first leaked. I was like,
think
look
so.
at this spot. This might be it for carpet.
We might need that. So that's also some news we can talk about too. Hyrox has announced that they have a new equipment partner. So that's breaking right this instant. But actually breaking this instant is Jack Bauer on site. What's up, dude?
Been a heck of a past 2 days for work, but yeah. What's up, guys? I figured you'd be able to kill the time talking shoes and
Talk
stuff.
about shoes. What else
There
do we
is-
talk about?
There is one thing about shoes that I'm a little concerned about, though. I listened to the Lisa Crocker episode this past week, Running Public. Apparently, that shoe wall is not as big as most people would think. Kirk said that it extends only slightly off the screen. Is that true, Bracken?
Is there 4 columns?
Yeah, this is
4
a
columns?
background.
Okay,
a backdrop.
I was under the assumption
It's a
that
green
there were
screen.
like 37 different pairs to the left and right of you and stuff. Like this is like a Foot Locker or something.
No. We'll give a little.
We got 4
Oh.
columns.
Okay,
4 is even like, yeah,
I got you.
okay.
Okay.
4 is legit.
No, it is legit. I was just expecting like a wrap around the entire room was like that. Okay, so he's got 20-ish on the wall right there. That it's a very, very good setup. Let's be real, but it's just a little surprise.
Now, there are 2 shoe shelves on either side here that are full to the brim. But the wall
Gotcha.
itself is just it's a figure piece.
Okay.
That's it.
And it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get
Oh,
into
I'm all cattywampus. Darn it, check.
all over
Sorry,
the place.
sorry,
Jack
Bracken.
comes in and just
And one other thing, I know
knocks
she
it in.
doesn't listen because she said she doesn't, but Lisa should do voiceovers. She has a very soothing voice to listen to. So
Yeah, I fall asleep all the time when she's talking to me. Got her.
boom.
got her. All right, so let's talk about some actual stuff that happened. We're going to talk about some Hyrox, but first, results out of some Spartan race in Michigan. First place on the women's side, Kaylee Winsma. Huge victory for her.
Second place was
Second place was Void. Third place also
non-existent.
Void. On the men's side, finishing third, Robbie Gingrich out of Indiana. Finishing second, Logan Broadbent, who has top 5 finish at West Virginia, podium finish on the U.S. National Series before, one of the best that's ever done it, winning the race out of Michigan, out of West Allis, Wisconsin, Brakken Crocker.
I mean, that's a top 16 overall performance.
I would say that
Absolutely.
that would definitely boost the all-time rankings.
Is he the
Okra
best
material.
in Wisconsin again?
I don't know. Have you ever lost the best in Wisconsin OCR?
No,
That's been
no, it's a
locked
battle
and loaded.
of like 6. Wisconsin's not a hotbed.
We got our
I
guy.
mean, at one point, who was it? Jordy Buscemi? He might have been
Yeah.
up there. Is he up?
Like I
is
said, we
he
got like
in
6
Wisconsin?
guys who are podium threats.
That's
at
not bad.
regular
Toll,
races.
Ian Caskey.
Garrett Toll, they are both Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa. Okay.
Get it straight.
When
Ferguson
my brother
doesn't live
moved
there.
out of state, we lost like 30% of our podium threat. We have a good OCR scene, but we're just
High
we're
end.
top heavy.
It's hard training out there.
There are
Can't ju-
no big races. We got frontline OCR. We got some cool stuff happening. Abominable snow race. We
Mm-hmm.
got good stuff, but the Spartan doesn't come here anymore.
No.
Tough Mudder doesn't come here anymore.
So you've got to go to
Battle
Michigan
Frog stopped
instead.
coming.
I
Dude,
raced the Lake Geneva
Yeah,
Battle Frog.
that was nasty.
Your fitness
I
must
got-
be pretty solid, Brakken.
I mean, it was. I talked about it a bunch on the podcast that just released today on TRP, but
Go check it out.
but the way I see it is that if we race 10 times, this is the only one I win.
Hey,
On this course, in those conditions, it was. We pulled into the parking lot. It was 37 degrees.
oof,
10 minutes
nice.
into the race, it started raining. It negated his ability to fly through obstacles. Like, we got on the rig at the same time, and he got off like a half second earlier. That doesn't happen in real life. He gets off 5 seconds before me. And it was so... The sun came up. I turned my headlamp off with 1 mile to go.
So you really
Wow,
needed
really?
This wasn't like just dawn. You couldn't.
We wouldn't
see.
have survived this. At least
Wow.
30% of the race, you couldn't see what you were stepping in because it was so technical and overgrown. This was like my legs are. I look like I just got in a fight with like a herd of cats. It was very difficult terrain, and that just like he's good on difficult terrain.
He's good at that.
But
West Virginia.
you can't run 5-minute pace on difficult terrain. Like the difference between 6-minute and 6:30 is astronomical, but it's still only 30 seconds. You know, so it brought everything together, and then he got stuck on an obstacle, and that let me back into it.
Look, if you lose to Logan by 3 minutes, I'm still like, BK, you're in pretty good shape.
Coming in, I said I'd like to finish within like if it's 2 minutes or less, it's a good day. If I can get it under 90 seconds, then my running was really strong.
Especially considering he just went like 2:27 in the marathon. He's
Well,
not
that's the
super
other thing, right?
fresh. Like, yeah.
13 days ago, the marathon's not out of your
Freshness
legs.
doesn't matter in
I went-
OCR.
I went to Big Bear a couple years ago, raced it. I think it was 2021, and that was when they had the Boston Marathon in October. And Logan had a deferral because COVID. They pushed it back like a year and a half or something like that. And he did Big Bear a week after that. He's like, "Man, it's a dumb idea."
He's
but
never
still did
been great at altitude mountain stuff. That's a tall order for our guy out in Ohio.
it. Yeah.
This
But
is just
Michigan,
a hard race.
nasty.
Yeah,
He's
hard.
he's down for that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen him do stuff like Mud Guts and Glory. Like he can
Beat
run this
VJ when
stuff.
VJ was unstoppable. Then
Indian
Yeah.
Mud Run. Is that what they call that?
Yeah, Indian Mud Run at the old. Yeah, but
Not
anyway,
King's
it was
Domain, but yeah.
it was the right mix. It was the right setup. My fitness felt good. I felt very in control of myself. And then when it was time to, as soon as there was a chance, then I could giddy up a little bit. But let's not act like I just took it to Logan.
We
He
got
put a minute 18 on me in the first 5K, including his spear throw penalty loop.
You
Don't
just
matter.
gave him the business, Bracken.
That's
Don't
the
short
win.
sell yourself.
Win's a win. Yeah, he talked about all
Right.
the reasons why Spartan is so silly. He's like, oh, it was cold. You couldn't see shit. It was like super technical, and that was the race.
That's
You
what I
ran the
love.
race.
I mean, I'm not. I just want to be clear that I'm not looking at like I'm the new guy. It was a one-off thing.
I'm looking at these rankings that we got. Richard Heineck, he won that 3K series in Europe. He's right in front of you, but you won this race in
I
Michigan.
don't think
We got to
Heineck
talk
was
about it
out
when
sprinting
it comes
Bracken
down.
right there. Yeah.
When it comes down to talk to it.
Yeah.
You said
What
what?
was that? Was that an insult? If it is
Oh
an
no,
insult, let's hear
I
it
was
again.
I was complimenting Bracken.
No.
I was like, I don't think Richard Heineck was going to out sprint him this weekend.
Nobody's out sprinting you in that last. Was it a sprint finish or was it a A-frame? How do we do it?
Yeah, it went A-frame, rolling mud,
Ugh.
dunk wall, slip wall, sprint.
How long of a sprint?
Distance.
30 meters.
That's a sweet spot right there for you.
I came off it 1 second behind the
you
to
passed
start
him?
it.
Closed.
I led one stride.
Nice.
He dove, I leaned.
The only one you needed, and he dove, so he cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was as close as it gets. We stood there and no one knew who won. Like I knew I had got there first, but I had leaned, which put my timing chip behind me. And he dove arm, and so I didn't know
Smart.
did his wrist get ahead of my. So it was that close. It was like after like 5 minutes, they had to wait for the actual timing to pop up, and then the lady came up and showed us it. But we had the same time.
Now, would they have gone on chip or gun time at that point?
Chip.
Well, chip finish, gun start.
Okay. Well, because sometimes they adjust like the overall rankings. Like that's what they do for age groups because they start at different times. So it's got to
we
be
both
chip.
started on
Yeah.
the front line.
It's gotta be Chip.
So anyway, it was as close as it gets,
I
but
like
it
how you-
wasn't close until the last 800.
I like how you leaned, like you have some sort of sprinter background, and like it just like was just watching track and field. You're like, this is the right thing to do, and like it was the complete wrong thing to do.
Yeah, I said, Craig, it was like ingrained into me. Running the 800, almost every race, there's someone leaning with you at
I guess
the
the
line.
800, yeah, 800 and collegiate 800. There's that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was never the champ, so I was always leaning for like second through eighth. And so almost every race I ever ran, I leaned. It just, I didn't think, it was just natural. And then I thought that was really dumb. If I lost because I threw my timing chip behind me, that's really stupid.
To do like a swan, like a swim. All right. Well, congratulations to that. Listen to TRP to get the full breakdown. We don't want to step on the toes of that episode, but we're going to talk about Spartan because we're here right now. Jack, we waited for you. You have some stats. We've been waiting patiently. Haven't been talking trash on you since you weren't here or
I'm sure
anything
not.
like that. So
No,
let's
no.
hear this stat you got.
Well, this is mainly about Brakken and his sprint finishes because
Nice.
We've seen a lot of sprint finishes recently, and Lindsay and Nicole, they were separated by 3 seconds, and so I drew the line at about 3 seconds just to make the analysis a little bit easier. There've only been about 15 people in Spartan history with multiple sprint finishes, 2+ of 3 seconds or less. Brakken just got in his 7th right there.
Oh,
This man.
I reckon
man-
it's actually not good.
He's like a high schooler, He's just sitting,
Or it is
kicking.
good because you talked about how you just walked down Logan right there.
What's his
So it's like-
record? You got
I've
his
never
record?
been out
I'm gonna let you
sprinted,
guess.
but most of those that get down to under a second because it was 12 seconds with 200 to go and I ran out of real estate.
You're like that's
So
like
I Hunter twice, Isaiah probably once, maybe twice. Lost all of those, but it was like a 20-second gap with 400 to go. So I've never been out sprinted, but I haven't won every single one of my close finishes.
Okay. Because
like,
I was
have
going
you
to ask you
seen-
about these. So
Yeah.
you mentioned Isaiah. Isaiah also has 7 sprint finishes.
only that's because he's just like getting in front of people, not letting you
Yeah,
pass
yeah.
all the way to the
Stadiums
finish.
lend themselves to tight races.
They do.
Who do you, so the tiebreaker, who do you think has the better sprint finish record? And I don't care about the backstory, if it's
Him.
getting walked down or whatever. Like,
Him.
just.
I picked Brakken because Brakken
Well,
is
Rich,
him.
Rich wins.
Oh, okay.
Brakken is 4-3 in sprint finishes. Isaiah's 3-4. So you are the GOAT of sprint finishes, or
Duh.
one of
Know
these
it.
tight ones, Brakken. So,
We didn't even need this stat. We already knew this.
yeah. So actually, Hunter, he's the only one besides you two who has more than 2. He's 2-1, and
He has 2 with me and 1 with Cody.
I was gonna say he did 1 in Las Vegas, Cody,
Yeah.
and then he beat you twice, unfortunately. So maybe I rescind my statement, Brakken. But head to head, the only time it was actually only 1 really close one with Isaiah. You've had a few that were like less than 10 seconds, but it was in Chicago 2018 Stadium. That's when you ended up giving him the business and
On
took
the
him
assault
down.
bike.
Yeah, which is hard to do because he's really good at that.
He fumbled the start button, and it gave me
The-
like a 2-second gap, and that was just enough.
Not your problem. Yeah.
That's a good stat.
Yeah, told you. So, yep, Brakken, you've done it in multiple, 3 different distances with this super in Michigan. You've done Fenway 2013 and 14, Miller Park, which was a former stadium, and 2018 Chicago Stadium. So and Mexico Stadium as well. And then you did
That
the
wasn't a
24.
sprint finish, though. It looks
According
like
to
it,
the-
but Angel and I came around the corner, and the finish line was there. We didn't know where the finish line was.
Oh, so
We just turned the corner. We're like, oh shoot, and it was over.
okay. See,
We
that's
thought
why
we thought we were like 500 meters out.
well, it would have been a sprint finish because you were that close at that point.
That would have been a fun one because it was
Yeah.
on pavement. We both had flats on, and he's got some wheels. That would have been.
Oh man, after seeing what he did last week, it's like Angel versus you. That's like a dream matchup for a sprint
Yeah,
finish.
he might be a faster runner, but the thing that I have is I can get 3 steps up to speed as quick as about anyone. And that was always indoor track for me. Like I couldn't go from 600 out, but if we had to just get up, make a quick one. Matt Murphy and I had one at Atlas Race in Temecula as well. We went from
Heck
about
yeah.
200 meters out together. That was a good one.
Who won that?
I got that one.
Nice. Yeah, can't be touched.
I'm easy to beat. I'm hard to outsprint.
Can't be near him. Gotta drop it early.
And if you want one other one, the other member of the Crocker family is 0-2 in sprint finishes. So Macaulay, no wheels.
Just gotta get
Who
that.
did he lose to other
pop.
than me?
Both of them, it says.
Yeah. Both of them, he crossed the line first, but I started behind him in the race. And we crossed side by side, but he started the first one. That was back when we were racing together.
Because he needed to, get points or something in the series.
Something
and
like that,
yeah. I'm just going simply off the time that's on Spartan's website, so I don't know the details of everything, but regardless, I was trying to give you one other thing to hold over his head.
I mean, I'll take it.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And unfortunately, if you were a better sprinter, since you lost 3 of those, you would have been 10th in the all-time wins, but you're sitting in 13th right now. So, a few away, but, if you were a couple seconds faster, you would have had 30 career wins, but almost.
It's not over yet.
Nope.
He's getting there.
I don't have 30 career wins.
27. Individual.
I would have guessed higher.
You've probably got more, other brands and stuff, or team wins or series wins for stadium series. But I'm talking individual solo wins. So you're getting close.
I think there's 2 on Athlinks that aren't on Athlinks.
You had a Brakken Crocker from Mexico. I got that one fixed.
Okay. One of the Hawaii ones, they told us it was an elite wave, but it doesn't online. It doesn't show as an elite wave. There's some stuff. Doesn't matter.
I've looked. Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're 1 away from VJ in all-time podiums, and you're ahead of Hobie at this point.
And yet I started like 5 years before VJ.
Doesn't matter. You had a break.
That's
Don't
right.
matter none.
You know what? Someone messaged me for 1 hour. I had the record for longest first to last podium streak. And then an hour later, Jesse Bruce crossed the finish line in a beast. Because mine was fall of 2011 and his was July of 2011. And on the same day we podiumed, but his beast took an hour and a half longer than mine. And so for like 60 minutes, I had the record, and now he's got it.
Crazy. I don't think that he raced until 2013, because that was Canada. That was kind of when he emerged.
No, I think a check on ORM's post.
I did the podium streak a week or 2 ago for our podcast. Anyway, we'll worry about this later, but I don't think he was 2011.
Okay, I'm checking right now.
Spartan specific.
While you check, let's move along.
Yeah.
Jack, we waited for you
2012
also.
he was, and it was Warrior Dash. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Nice.
All good.
But you came out on top because you admitted it, Brakken.
That's right, I won.
We did win. Congrats.
Got there first.
Jack, let's talk about the changes in the upcoming competitive series, or just the way everything's changing, and just fill us in on some of the details. BK and I have a general understanding, Brakken more than I don't really know anything about this and what's happening, but I figured you were locked in. So there's going to be some significant changes with the series next year, and Jack, you're locked in, man. So why don't you take us through that, and we'll talk about some scenarios. We'll give our opinions. That's what we're gonna do.
I'll go one at a time, and then we'll list the pros and cons of each. Step
Deal.
1: they are combining elite and age group waves at local races, non-series. So if it's a Big Bear or whatever historically has been a national series race, or your regional championship, they're going to have it's a gated wave. If you want to race in the 35 to 39-year-old age group, you have to qualify. But if you're at your local Sunday Michigan Sprint or whatever, they're going to combine them all at one. And it's going to be, you estimate your time heading in there. So if you're like, I'm a faster runner, I think they're doing it off of 5K or 10K time, which, that's debatable realistically.
That's fine.
Most people are going to seed themselves pretty close, plus or minus a wave. But anyway, competitive, no more elite and age group separation. They are going to put them all in one wave and give out awards where 1, 2, 3 overall, regardless of what your age is, they will win the elite award. And then age group starts with the 4th place person getting the 1st place age group as a roll down, basically.
This to me is how I'm familiar with how age group typically works.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
This is road
running.
racing.
This is road racing.
Yeah.
I like it. And I like the seeding, because that was always the thing, right? Because this was also how Spartan was. When did they come up with the elite heat alone? Or
they've had that
it wasn't
since pretty much the beginning. the
No,
elite
but I thought you could run the elite heat and still win your age group back. But
they had like
they didn't always have age group. They didn't always have age group.
Age group was the addition.
That's what it was, and that was relatively
that was
recent.
something like 2016 or something.
Yeah.
And started being offered frequently, and then they had the elite or the age group national series. I think
I guess it's more like 18, 19. Yeah.
15 was Masters started.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe. And this didn't come around until after that.
I would think this is like. I would almost think this is like 19.
I think 18 was the first national series that had an exclusive age group ranking, but I'm pretty sure there were local races in 2016 and 17 that offered age group heats. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure on that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So what would be the drawbacks to this?
A couple people sign up and inflate their time to get in the earliest wave so they can be done for the day. Other than that, most people are going to be reasonably close to where they should be, and if they're not, they'll catch the people from the next heat.
Yeah. Drawback is one, visually, they're removing a feature. It looks like a regression. We all, I think, agree that it's a positive regression. This is how you should start. If you had to rebuild Spartan from the start, this is what you would choose initially. But anytime you withdraw a feature, it removes something from someone, and that someone is going to be the person that used to be able to get an age group, and now they can't, like a podium or a win. So it's going to affect a small amount of people.
Why would it change that?
Well, because now, let's say you guys run Colorado, you're taking the age group spot away from someone.
Oh, yes.
So a few people are going to lose out on spots.
True.
Clout, posting about it, whatever it is. A few people are going to lose that.
But
It's
truly,
mainly
in
the
terms
athletes who are under 40, though, who haven't had that aging curve really set in.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the times where someone like a Dustin Livingood, who was just in your race, or when Cole DeRosa shows up and does elite, but technically that is where you finish in your age group in the race, and that you were in the age group, category.
If you ran 18 to 24 in the past, and the VJ also did, but VJ happened to be in the elite wave, sorry, you did not win the 18 to 24 VJ did.
Right.
So I think this just properly puts it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, you did according to their
According
their
to
standards.
But I think we all know.
Every road race you've ever been to, the age group winner understands that they were one place lower than the prize they got.
Yeah. Yep. But overall, I think
that's a very small amount of person, and that's a person who is upset about this is the one who's just looking for clout.
That's it.
Yeah. So okay.
Yep.
Tough.
But on the flip side, it gives us what we asked for like 9 months ago on here, which is we get to see Cole, we get to see Ireland, we get to see Dustin all in the same wave, racing each other, starting at the same time. There's no more question of who got the better wave, who had a cleaner course. They all get to throw down at the exact same time, and they don't have to make a decision, am I an age group or an elite this weekend? It solves that problem entirely, and I'm very proud of Spartan for this decision.
Do you want to know what's even better about that, Brakken? Not just adding the Dustins and the Coles. You're going to be adding the Nichols at local races. They're combining men and women at the local races.
Oh.
We've asked for that. Let Nicole run with the men. Let Lindsay
Alex
beat some
Walker
men.
finishes 5th overall at every Texas race. Why is she starting 15 minutes back, having to weave in and out of people? Doesn't make sense. Yeah.
That makes total sense, and it's going to make the Bracken, you mentioned like a feature, like taking away a feature, but like from an optics standpoint, but like it's going to visually look better because it's not going to be Kaylee Winsma alone
By one.
Yeah. In her own heat.
Did she
Which
start
she
with
won
you?
the next day, I believe, as well, right?
She did. And there were like 4 women.
Yeah. She at least defended it. Good for her.
But
Suck on that.
did she has several podiums this year other than that weekend.
She's good. She's good.
Yeah. Did she end up just standing there alone, or was she with you? Did they send her out just to be like, this is bad?
Because it was so cold and rainy, she just let them they let her just get up after the race, stand up there, give her stuff, and then go ahead, hit the road.
Okay.
Is there a cap on this competitive? You do need to show that you have some sort of aptitude, right? It's not like, because back when it first started, it was just like, do you have 30 extra bucks?
Yeah. You
Congratulations,
want to run this
you're elite.
in a hot dog suit? If you pay a little extra, you can
And they
do
would
it.
sell
Whatever.
out. Those heats would sell out
Yeah.
because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so there may be a cap, but you have to have some sort of backing and if you don't make this heat, are you then just open?
No, I think it's like age group. If you want to sign up for it currently, you can do it. It's just the step up above open heat. I think anybody can sign up to be in the age group division if they want to. And now that it's going to be a single competitive wave, you can do the same. But I think that they're going to have a way of putting you in like wave 5 of 5 so that you don't impede other faster athletes in front of you.
These waves will start kind of how a road race starts, where it's like every 5-10 minutes.
I don't know the
Boston
gap,
Marathon.
but yes, it's corrals basically, not the KB corral, but corrals.
Nothing's
Not even.
KB corral.
Not even close.
No,
Not even us.
no.
That's true.
We couldn't even pull it off.
So there will be one competitive heat. So there won't necessarily be a limit to who can go in it. They'll just seed you appropriately. So there could realistically be 500 people in this competitive heat.
I think let's use your 500 as an example. I think they would be like, all right, we've got 500 people. They probably won't allow 500. Like realistically,
There's some sort of
let's say-
cutoff.
Yeah, they'll probably be like, all right, let's do like 250. So we have 5 groups of 50, something like that. And then they'll look, and I think that they had some, Chris Maltby mentioned, like if you have a top 10 finish at some point this season, just because it's late in the year, you get grandfathered in. If you have a top 10 finish this year, then you automatically get into Heat 1 next year.
Ooh.
And if you get a podium, the next year it'll end up being a podium, and that is the next step in order to get into the pro wave at a national series or a championship race. So pretty much they'll have their own filtration system for the local races, but they also have their criteria already set in place for who gets to race the national series.
So my question, and maybe this was answered because I didn't watch the AMA. If you are in wave 2, you still count the same as people in wave 1 for age group. But what if, can you win outright from wave 2?
Yeah. You can
Nice.
win from 5 chip time.
Okay.
And will they, for new racers, right? Like they can, like how they're going to be seated based. If someone comes in and runs a 15:30, there's going to be some sort of questionnaire when they're signing up that will put them in that first heat based off of some sort of
Self-select.
metric elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's seed yourself type of deal, but they
Cool.
also are going to have like a list of, you got a podium in the past, you're automatic, like registration will put you in there automatically. I don't think it's going to be too complex, and it's probably going to be a pretty limited list, but I think it's self seeding, and you can. They had the Q&A episode on, or like the with Chris Maltby and a couple others, the roundtable discussion. That's what it is. That was on OCR Report, and then Matt B. Davis also had another one-on-one interview with Chris Maltby where he kind of highlighted everything as well. So listen to those 2 interviews; you'll get a bunch of good info.
Now, this is the sticking point for some people. The complaints online are going to be like, oh, it's just going to be overrun with people wanting to do the first wave. I don't have a problem with it. I think there's going to be natural selection at play. There will always be a few people out of their depth, but it's not going to change the race. The only issue it's going to have is if you are the last person who doesn't get into the wave.
Yep.
And
Think
if you
of stadium
are,
races,
you're better off leading wave 2 anyway. Then you don't have to wait for
Probably.
sandbags and things like that. So yeah, we've seen in stadiums, you're better off winning heat 2 than getting dropped in heat 1.
Victor Quesada did that several times at big races, and it's like, wait, he finished 4th overall, and it's like because he didn't die with everybody else trying to keep up with Kent and Isaiah and you. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I firmly believe if you're not going to be in the top 10 to 15, you should just not run that first wave and run the second one, and if for your best possible time.
But
You get rid of
the
bottlenecks and things like that.
on the contrary, Rich, I'm thinking, because you and I were in Heat 2 at City Field during that super stacked race, and it's like, wait, I
Sprint
finished like in the top 15. Why did I get Heat 2? Like, so that can be a frustrating piece as well. But I think with 50 athletes, for instance, if that's how many they go with in Heat 1, you're not going to have many who do not finish in the, like, you're not going to finish 9th overall if you start in Heat 2. Like, something weird happen if that's the case. I think most people are going to naturally be in the right
And it's
going
going
to
to be more than 15 people, right?
Yeah.
per corral.
Yeah.
And
I
I
said
think-
5-0, not 1-5-50.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5-0 like that. You're
And
going
that's
to
a
get the
guess.
right
I
people
don't have the number, but it just makes sense that somewhere in that 50 to 100 range would probably be
from time
best.
perspective too. Like they can't just be
Yeah.
doing 15 people.
You have over under through that early in a race, like you're just gonna get boxed up.
Over.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I think hurdles don't belong at the start of races. I'd love to see that moved back.
That's the only
is-
place that they are.
It is so hard because you have to go sideways over those. It is so hard to fit people through there. Even this weekend, and not a huge field, like where there's contact on it. I think we should move that. But back to their decision. I think the sign of a good decision is that people start coming up with individual instances where there could be a fault. Like when they announce this, and the biggest complaint is, well, what if someone seeds themselves inappropriately? You're talking single-digit people that'll affect. That's good. That's a good problem to have.
Agreed.
And they can work on that on a case-by-case basis. There's not some big, well, what does this do to all these? I haven't heard that complaint, so I think this signifies it was a solid decision.
Yep. I still think the best part of this is letting the women run with the men. If you're a fast woman, like getting that opportunity, because you're going to see 5 to 10 of the top 50 or so come from the women's heat, and it's like finally they're probably going to run faster, having some competition that's a little bit quicker than them for once. And I don't know. I like that they're not going to be screwed over having to wait for the slower people who are dying that they've always had to deal with for the past decade.
You're going to run with the men either way if you're a stud female. You're either catching the people who don't belong on course or are going to bog you down, or you're going to start with people you can at least compete with. So you either put them on a totally different day or let them start together. So they chose one of those two options, which they've never done before.
And just sorry, Rich, and just think of Logan Broadbent, who we just mentioned in your race.
got that work.
He ran with Des Linden during the Chicago Marathon the whole time. Like, how many people do you think are going to be, B tier at a local race, and they're like, oh my God, I'm running with Nicole, or stuff like that? I think that would be pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah. But the answer is none. No B tier men are running with Nicole.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Not for very long.
What so would that split the women's elite field then? Is there a scenario where the top 3 are in that first corral and then 4 through 20 are in the next? Like, will that kind of make it a little bit more muddied for the
Is it any
women's
different
field?
than the small heat sizes we're having now, though? Except you have more bodies, whether
it's
they're the same
different.
gender or not.
Well, I mean, if you're putting everybody in there, if you have a chance to get third, but you don't get to race that person, and I guess it's not different, but that's a problem. I think that's an issue that Spartan is having right now, and I don't know if
That's
that
one
necessarily
question
solves
that
that.
has to be answered.
Like how that's going to split up that field.
Yeah. Well, the real question, I think, is do they apply the same time to men and women? They're saying theoretically sub-18 5K. In your
Right.
scenario, that sub-18 splits up the women's field. There's like 2 people ahead
With
of it and
one or
everyone else
two.
behind.
Right.
Or is it going to be sub-18 for men, sub-20 for women? In which case, everyone with a podium chance is probably going to be in it. Like, do they have different time standards? Or
But
do
then
they
are you
not?
like, I'm in heat 2 with the guys and my time's 19, so I'm faster than these 20s. Why do I get stuck with the slower people when I might be able to hang on for the faster? Yeah.
Right.
I see your point, Rich, for sure.
Right. Or if they just put like the top 10 women in that first heat no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
then
they
we're-
send them off 1 minute. Then it gets so tricky with the timing, like
Right.
the
Right.
gun time. Yeah.
Then is it any different than what it actually was? Are they even running, or should they even just have like the first heat of men, first
think-
heat of women go 2 minutes apart?
Energy of having a large heat is what they're looking for, and I think that regardless of how many from each gender starts, like if you have a nice 50 to 100 person wave at the beginning, you're going to get most of the right people there, and it's just going to feel like the old days and like a little bit more energetic. So I think regardless of how many get in there, it's an improvement.
That Aru is going to be popping again.
Not
You know
for
what I'd
me.
love to see?
Need
To bring back Jack's corral, cross-country corral, men's and women's corral that combine like 300 meters into the course.
that'd be cool.
You start out, do your own thing, and then you settle into the pace you're going to be running in and racing against. It would take a little bit of like, you'd have to loop the festival grounds
Yeah, there'd be no.
and then come onto course, which would be cool.
Start in the parking
That'd
lot.
be cool. Let's
But-
let's get a 400 meter finish before we worry about a 40 meter corral.
Well, I think that 40 meter corral would matter more because you're going to have a bunch of guys. The guys notoriously get out harder than the girls.
Unless you're
And
Nicole.
so they're going to get out hard. And then these women who can run 6-minute pace and the men can't are going to be stuck behind those guys early. But that's all part of it. That's just what they're going to have to work through.
All right. What else, Jack?
Yep. Okay, so I think we pretty much give that 2 thumbs up, right? Overall?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Prize money will not be announced until next year.
Nice. 2 thumbs up for consistency.
I'm actually giving it a thumbs up. And here's why.
Not 2, just 1?
One
One
thumbs
single.
up.
Okay.
One, because it shows foresight. They're saying, the way I'm hearing it is, if we had to announce prize money right now, you guys are not going to be happy with what we can afford to give you and commit to right now. But we're going to try to work on something that allows us to give you an announcement that excites you later. Like, give us 4 months to work on it. I understand the other side of it, which is this is OCR. We want you to be upfront as early as possible with the prize money. But the fact that they're not just saying, hey, here's what it is. It's 500, 250, 100. That's all we can commit to. They're leaving the door open for finding some source of money to pay these people. So I'm giving it 1 thumbs up because they're making a humane decision. They're trying to help the racers, it feels like, and I really like that.
I mean, they have no other option. What else are this? But at least they're being transparent. They're like, we don't know. Like, you guys can keep coming if you want, but like, don't come for the money. Don't make a fiscal decision working into your annual budget based off of what we got going on here.
2 thumbs up would have been, we will announce by this date, guaranteed. That would give me 2 thumbs up, so that you could have an idea. Am I dedicating myself to this series, or is this just like a funsy thing?
Yeah, I think that there was so much positive feedback in the comments and just the community and everything. It was probably the right decision not to do it at this moment. Like,
People were positive about this?
No. The overall announcements of combining the waves and other stuff that we're going to talk about. Like, it was a good talk that
let's
not
roll
too many
this out
negatives.
later. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's some PR
We'll
spin.
worry about this in 2024.
That's some PR
If they already
spin.
know that the prize money is going to be none, and they're just waiting to announce it, that sucks. But it's the right PR move.
I would love that rollout.
Yeah.
It's like, it'd have like a graphic and everything with zeros for every series.
And
every
each
event.
place drops down the same amount.
Yeah. Great news.
Same for all
Consistent
places,
pride. Yeah. The same opportunity for every athlete to earn this season.
At this point, I'd be cool if they went back to the gift certificate days.
Get some Reebok shoes on your feet.
Some craft
footwear
apparel.
Craft. Yeah, get some craft apparel. Like, that would be fine.
Kraft has good apparel.
If I walked out of Michigan this weekend with a brand new pair of like cold weather tights, I'd be jazzed
yeah.
up.
Sweet. Did they have a plate for your like triangle? Or was it just because the last one I went to, they were just like, hey, we'll mail this to you.
I got it
Last
all.
2, I think. Damn.
I had
Let's go.
Delta
have a-
in the holder in my hands, which my daughters now have in their fort.
Nice. I like it.
If anyone's watching from their medal department, I'm still missing the 2019 San Francisco Stadium one. So
I don't recognize that color. What is that?
oh,
It's not a color
actually,
BK
you do.
wool.
You've got a lot of them.
Oh, you give me one top of the podium,
Got
and
'em.
I will never be the same.
Oh, only gold. All right.
That's the limited edition 2019 bronze one. I don't think you have one from that year, Brakken.
Nice.
So no prize money.
Yeah.
What
All right.
else?
You guys know about calendars, how they go in order? We're doing it again. We're doing the series before the regional championship. None of
What?
this Blue Mountain or Kelowna midway through the season, or Kelowna or West Virginia.
So crazy,
order.
it just might work.
I don't know. I don't like it.
That's
Wait,
what
were
they're
you going to do
saying.
the regular season before the playoffs? Is that what you're telling me?
That doesn't make any sense. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
This is more
We
like they haven't got a thumbs down yet.
This one is so like. Can you get a thumbs up when it's like, hey, that was
You
like,
should have always been doing this.
This was a complete mistake. We didn't even notice this was going on.
Like, you're telling me that October is after August? This is weird. I don't know about that, guys.
So did they release the actual events?
Not
Well,
yet.
no.
I'm
Oh,
not
so
aware
this
of
could
them
be
yet.
this could be not true.
That's
They
good.
actually-
Is this a
they-
one thumb up?
They made this as part of their statement, like, "Hey, we're actually going to go in order."
In order, because
Not as part of the
gated...
statement. It came up in the conversation.
Oh, okay. So this might not be true.
No, they were saying that there's a gated system to get into the national series,
that's right.
And a stricter gated system to get into the regional championship. So
What does that matter? How do you figure that?
Because it came up in
using-
conversation.
They had that exact same format this year, where there was like an application process to get into 3K and to get into the Mexico Pan Am games. There's a stricter one.
But I heard the same thing. That regionals will be after the series.
I don't think they should change it.
All right, Rich is going 1 thumb. I'm going 1.5 thumbs. I believe that they're going to do it, but I've got to see those dates first.
The only reason I don't believe
thumbs.
this, Jack, is because you believe it, and I'm like,
I'm too.
Something's fishy. Double
Brakken-
thumbs.
Brakken
I'm a Spartan
buy-in.
homer.
Who has 2 thumbs and loves Spartan Race?
Brakken. All right, Brakken. Are you going to keep those thumbs up for this particular one as well?
I don't know.
They are not going to have.
Oh, I really don't know if I'm going to thumbs this up.
I didn't hear it.
I didn't
Did
either.
you just bail? Oh my goodness, Jack! This is classic. Jack. That was like at the moment where he's like letting it out. Jack, we can't hear you.
Comedic
You're
timing.
gone. The timing was on point. People are laughing. Are you back? No, I'm getting some echo from. All right, see you, Jack.
So far, what's your reaction to this?
It's positive. I think I like that they are taking time to think about it. They could have easily just like been. They're making the appropriate decisions based off of the way that the numbers and the races have played out this year. So they're paying attention a little bit, which is good. Like that's enough for me to feel positive about this. Is that it's like, they are trying to make this better, which
These
is a feeling
are the
that
decisions of a company that's trying to do the right thing.
yes, which is not a feeling that I've had in the past like 2 or 3 years or so.
Yeah.
I had a brief soil issue right there. How's it sound? Good.
Back, dude, that was perfect.
The cord on my microphone, it just literally fell out, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Got to get
And
that
then-
magnetic cord.
Yeah,
You're out here-
I need to get that.
You get a Mac. My shit is in there.
Yeah, but anyway, as my perfect timing was saying, they're having same weekend for age group and elite national series again. So no more San Luis
Hell yeah.
Obispo on their own, and you know,
Hell yeah.
it's the right thing to do.
It just makes the event like special. It's like energy. Everyone's there. That's great.
Divide and conquer just isn't the way to do this.
What do you think they did that in the first place?
Probably more money because now you have 6 to 8 national series events instead of 5.
To give age group its own platform type of thing.
Well, they dressed it up as that, but if
Yeah.
you remember back, I talked about how they have this proposal that they send out basically to these cities, and they have a rate they charge the city for hosting them, and it can go up higher if it's a championship series.
That was
event.
what I meant by money, not
Yeah.
payouts, but receiving.
So they always said it's about giving you your own thing, but their own thing made us able to double the amount of big money payouts from cities, from the tourism board we could command. So bringing it back together is huge.
Yeah.
I like it. It's we haven't talked about this because this is not a CrossFit podcast, but CrossFit took their age group athletes and have made the events completely separate this year, which I think makes sense for that sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Are they
of
gonna hold it in Fort Worth or
no, it's
Really?
just gonna it's a completely different thing. It's like it's an event that exists somewhere else already. That will just be where the age group and teen is going to be its own thing, and masters is going to be its own thing.
So
They're
the
so big
games
they can do
is-
that.
Yeah. So the games is only the top 40 men, top 40 women, and the best
teams.
teams. That's it.
That's it.
Age group is this. Okay.
Yep.
I think
I don't mind it.
it's like having junior Olympics and having
Yeah.
the U20 championships, whereas Ironman, a smaller sport with less events, has age group and pro all on the same day. I think it makes
You're
sense.
gonna have the same race anyway, right? You still have an age group race after the elite race, so
Yeah.
just make it the championship. It change like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to do nothing. So
Now,
I like,
one thing that I did not receive clarification on for those national series races is if you race age group or pro, in race 1, do you have to stick with that the rest of the season? Because they have criteria to qualify in. Like, I'm not sure if you let's say you get a top 3 overall at a local race, and then that gets you into the pro wave at an age group or a national series race. Are you required, because you met that criteria, to race the pro because you're good enough to do that? Or can you selectively choose because you want to drop to age group at the national series? I don't know the answer to it, but I have opinion.
We've talked about this before, and I forget. I had an opinion, but it's so loose that I could easily be swayed either direction. So I'm happy to hear your guys' opinions.
The Rich
first.
Ryan story.
I'm just gonna let me decide what's gonna work best for me.
Yeah. Brakken, what are your thoughts?
I think that if you enter a pro race, that you should be pro for the year. I think it should be like the pro card system. I think you don't have to accept it. I don't think anyone should be forced to compete at a level that would provide them anxiety or a lesser experience. If taking top 3 fills your cup more than taking 30th place, stick to that. But I think if you commit to one, you've committed for the series. That's the way I would approach it.
I think it's an accept it, and you're stuck there all year. Regardless if you go higher or lower of what your ability level might say, you can choose, do whatever. If you want to race age groupers because you feel like you'd have a much better battle, and you're not going to hang with a Tyler Veerman or a Lindsay or something in the national series race, but you want those head-to-head battles against similar ability athletes, go ahead, race age group at the national series race. But once you do that, you can't change until the following year. That's how I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think it doesn't matter because there's only 3 races in the series. If you do one, you're already eliminated from the other series, essentially. So it's not like flip-flopping would even help.
Jack, do we have a percentage of winner?
They better be doing percent of winner.
Definitely doing percentage of winner.
If they've made all these positive changes and they stick with that stupid 300, 264 thing.
That's a good point, Brakken. Like, if all 3 races count, then you're going to have to pick it, and that's
self-eliminated at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it.
Which is the best. If they don't have to make a ruling on it, like, it wouldn't even make sense to do the others, so you can't. That's the best.
Yes. Yeah. So that if that's the case, then I'm definitely for that.
Yeah. Choose, but stick with it. That's kind of the way. And then you're penalized if you decide to flip-flop, because now you're not going to get enough points.
And it doesn't affect your
regular season because it's all the same race at the other races. Yep. It's only 3 times per year, plus regional and worlds. And if you could be at regionals or worlds, then you're not the type that's going to be a tweener anyway, so it doesn't affect you. So it only affects you 3 times per year.
I would always encourage athletes to go up in competition. So I like to see that. So sticking with it makes I don't know.
It's good to get a confidence boost by, placing well in your division if you're starting off early, but we saw it in the national series race, and we've seen it at World Championship performance in the past. Like, Annie Doobie started an age group, and then she went to elite, and look what happened. She got multiple OCR Worlds podiums, second at Spartan Worlds. Manuel Defoe, he started an age group, and now he just won the elite national series in North America. It's like, eventually there's a point where you're like, hey, I just want to see if I've got it against these next people, and it often brings out better performances in the long run rather than just kind of staying complacent.
Yeah.
But in the long enough run, it stops making sense again. Like for a Cole. Like, if you're 50,
once you're 50
and you're going 1-1-1, that still is an appropriate place for you to be. Could Cole qualify up? Yes. And I would respect the heck out of him if he wanted to come up.
She's doing it.
Yeah. Right. If they wanted to run the pro series, great. They belong there. But I also would never hold it against them staying age group, because like each year, your performance capacity will drop slightly. So it's not like you have something to progress towards. So I encourage staying for those people if they want to.
Yeah. I'm mainly talking about 40 or under 40 athletes, although Manuel Defoe and Ryan Woods, and you've seen some of the people defy logic. Is Rich frozen for you, Brakken?
Rich is frozen.
He's frozen.
Like, that's a good face.
I was frozen in thought. That's what well, CrossFit doesn't start age group until 35.
35.
Right? Like if you are under 35, then the only place that you can compete is the elite.
Yeah.
Like if you can't make it, you just aren't in championship contention. So that kind of removes a lot of that right there. If we could do that in Spartan at 40, be like, you're not even able to be an age group unless you're 40.
It's not a bad way to go about it.
You know?
But yeah, I agree with your points about Cole and Heather and some of the other athletes who it's like, well, national series, I want to be the best because I'm the best in my age group. Like, nothing wrong with that at that point. Local races, I'm glad that they combine it though.
For sure.
What else?
Yep. This one I was a little confused on. I thought I heard it properly, but they said that they are going to be having a short distance world championship weekend outside of Abu Dhabi for the world championship. So, and he said that there's no 3K series because they're just going to have the normal events that we've had in the past. So if I'm interpreting that correctly, does that sound like a super world championship and a sprint world championship?
Or 3K and sprint or some standalone weekend. Yeah.
That you'll
3K,
declare
25K.
a world champion in a shorter, in a non-beast event, basically, or outside of Abu Dhabi, they'll have somewhere.
My worry is that it's 3K and 100 meter. My worry is that this is where World Obstacle comes into play. And I shouldn't say worry because it doesn't affect us. The addition
look at
of
the reactions that Rich and I both had. Like everyone else listening to this probably had the same as well. It's like,
but the addition of it doesn't hurt the sport. It's when you subtract something from the sport in order to put that on. So if they're still having the long distance championship and then they also have something short that most of the people don't care about, but some really care about, it doesn't hurt us. It also feels like if one thing doesn't come to fruition out of all of this, it's going to be that.
Yep.
No opinion.
Okay. Well, from what I heard, 3K will not be in a series, but it will be at both the regional championship and the world championship. So it'll mean that the regional. That's what?
Like for
As
fun?
an add-on, though, right?
For funsies?
No. Like multiple distances will have prize money at the regional championship.
Right. What I'm saying is it's not regional 3K championship is it. There's a regional championship with a 3K there as a championship.
If we're using West Virginia as the example again, it's like West Virginia would have a 3K and the Beast. Both of those will offer prize money. Both of them will have their own individual regional champion. And, that's how I'm interpreting it.
Are we adding more world champions?
I think we're lacking on
so.
that department, yeah.
I think so. Nice. That's what we needed. Thumb up.
So basically, it sounds like you can run the 3K and then whatever other championship distance it is the next day, which I think is actually good, and that's probably would have been more successful in the long run.
We were talking about that this year. It's like if there was an actual Spartan race after these 3K events, they would probably be a little bit more successful.
Like
so there probably would still be like the Friday, Saturday. It would be 3-day events then, we're thinking most likely.
Probably, yeah.
But only like 3 times. That's cool.
Great.
Let's go. Let's pick our spot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll gladly skip the race the next day.
I will show up and make an excuse to not run up that mountain.
Yeah, give me a great, awesome long distance event that I will not show up to the next day.
I would love that.
Yeah, give me that. I want that option. I want the right to choose not to race on day 2, but I want there to be a race on day 2.
Yeah.
For those who can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And pretty much that's pretty much it. The only other one that I heard mentioned was that there's no stadium or mountain series next year, but there's a chance of it coming back in the future. I would love seeing that. But I don't think we're getting those back for a little while.
I got like 2 years.
Yeah.
Now you're
2
feeling
years
ready.
before I really start to lose my wheels.
All right.
Right now, if they have a stadium world championship, who's the podium?
BK.
Is Kent winning it? He's got to be the favorite.
He's pretty fit right now.
This is the question, right?
He's got the best record in stadiums in the past, realistically.
Erroneous.
I think he's got a winning head-to-head record against you in stadiums.
He does. He
Head-to-head's
does, but
dumb.
it's erroneous.
Okay.
Because I'm going to claim fitness detriments during that. The real question is, what happens when the really good guys do stadiums? Like, how good will Atkins be at a stadium? Will Sergey be at a stadium? Will Hynek? Will Thomas Buell? Like, Ryland's going to be nasty at stadiums.
Ryland's done stadiums.
VJ, like, I don't think there's a different favorite for the win. I think there are other people like myself and Kent and people that will show up and be a player who wouldn't be a player at a different distance. But you can't tell me that someone who's great in the mountains for 30 to 60 minutes is going to suck in a stadium.
Yeah.
No, especially there's so much like, but there are like BK. You
Types
know
of
all the
stadiums.
tricks. You
For
know
sure.
all. You know
They're
how
not
to
coming
do
in on
it.
day one and taking,
No,
doing
not-
work to us.
It's
My
a
money's
it's
on me
definitely
or
different.
Kent or VJ.
Yeah.
Or maybe a Ryland, but it doesn't mean that we might all miss the podium because the great endurance mountain runners
No.
who can also go anaerobic just sweep us out. That might happen.
Killian, he just came in
Yeah,
and
he's
did
always
work.
good. Yeah, he's always good.
Yeah.
So I guess the big
that's
questions.
a hypothetical.
The big questions here: we don't know the distances, we don't know the dates,
Yeah.
or in the venues, right? Like we don't know any of those things.
We know the distances. They've claimed super sprint or sprint super beast for the series.
And there's only 3.
Only 3 as of right now.
Great.
They have not said anything about distances for championships other than there will be a 3K present.
Sounds like there's 2. There's going to be 2 distances at each championship, but it could be beat. But the second distance we don't know.
We don't know.
And our 3Ks,
Assuming beast and 3K.
so and we're going to expect a 3K at every single one of these events.
No.
No, only
Regional
the regional
world.
and world championship.
Okay, so can you even do a 3K? Where can we do 3K other than the World Championships then?
That's a good question.
That's it, as
Thank
far as
you.
I'm aware.
That's
so
it.
how do you qualify for that? Is it like you got into the elite wave for the
Decafit.
longer distance? Yeah, for
It's
the
like this
longer
year. How do you get into the elite wave of the 3K for the first one?
fly?
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing.
I think that you'll 100% have 45 people showing up to that one though. National Series weekend.
I would think so. Well, it won't be a National Series weekend.
That's why it should be a
Or
national
regional
series weekend.
championship. You're right.
Yeah.
They should just do 3 of these on the National Series days, especially if you're going to have all the age groupers there as well. Because, like, there's no reason an age group podium threat shouldn't do relatively well in the 3K series.
Agreed.
We'll see. Yep. I think that one's one of the first like question marks that we've had so far. But overall,
As soon as
Yeah.
as soon as they removed the regular series in World Championship, we thought the 3K was a dumb idea. But as soon as they bring the regular offering back, we want the 3K to be there all the time.
Why not?
Like it's a great add-on.
it was very compelling racing. Honestly, like
Yeah.
watching it, it wasn't as bad as people feared.
It
No.
could be better just based off of numbers.
I know, but like you still had good action. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking participation. I'm
about that
talking the
action?
races. Yeah.
About that action, boss. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think these are all, like, this is good. This is
Is there
positive.
anything that we wish would be in there that we haven't talked about?
What about a protein? Are they bringing the protein back?
There's no way, right?
No protein?
I
Oh,
doubt
man.
Do
Dang.
you want to know what I do wish they would do? And it would be zero out of pocket to them. If you get an elite podium, here's a free race code.
Bring back the
That was
race
good back in the
codes.
day.
Bring back
The only reason I
apparel.
raced this weekend out of code.
Shit is expensive, man. Shit was
Yeah.
expensive for DECA. DECA World Championships was like 200 plus
it's
a
not a cheap
race.
weekend. Yeah.
No prize money, 5-hour drive plus hotels and gas. I wasn't paying for that race. I would not have gone without that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. If they just revert all the way back, right? And just like top, how did they used to do it? Like top 50 get a sweatshirt, top 20 get a season pass or something like that, right? You could race.
You
Something like that.
guarantee the good people show up. You know, the faces that you want to see there.
They
It's
should do
not
that.
really any out of pocket. It's a loss or a lost potential income, but realistically, it's like you're not paying them. You're just saying
No,
you can't.
you don't have to
be
budget
there.
for it.
And
Yeah,
they're
you
going to
don't
give
have
out
to.
race codes to influencers and stuff anyway throughout the year. So just kind of
Yeah.
take some away from them.
3K should be free for every contender. Do not give them any reason not to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
It could be better if they announce big prize money. Like we are partnering with Navy Federal to give you 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 at every race. That'd be great. But this is a positive everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. I think that it's overall going to be more compelling. I like that there's 3. It's only 3 drafts. It's not a lot of drafts.
I mean, you
5
guys
with
got
the
to
regional
do it right.
and
Yeah.
world. I got to check that. I don't even know what the scores are now.
Honestly,
I'm
the way
guessing
this
I'm-
is going, I don't
kicking
want
in
to do any
pants.
more drafts.
You should have been saying that from the start. Now
I
that
think I
I'm up
won
in-
last year.
Oh, you did win last year, but you had
whatever.
Kirk then. You don't have Kirk anymore.
Yeah, I'm not me without him.
That's true. It's true.
One other thing that I was going to say, where do you want to see the races? If we're going to have one sprint super beast, like you said, Brakken, should they go back to Jacksonville? Should they go back to, the venues they've been going to before, or is it time to switch it up?
If we're picking our dream,
Which
you've
we
got
did
to hit
earlier.
both coasts, you've got to hit the center, and you're going to have a regional and a world. So I would want like a Jacksonville, maybe a Seattle Super, and then a Killington or New Jersey or Palmerton, and then the regional at West Virginia. It sucks for the West and the South or whatever, but you hit the iconic places. That's the way I would do it. And maybe put the sprint somewhere else. Maybe Jacksonville doesn't need it, but I would hit a Seattle or a Montana for the Super.
Montana's at a new venue this year.
What's that?
Montana's at a new venue. It's not a big
I heard
Yeah,
that
but I mean,
like
it's
a race,
Montana, it's
like
gonna be
I heard it was going to be more like a like how they have them at those like race parks sometimes.
It's
Maybe it'll
disappointing.
But I'd love to see iconic. And if West Virginia is the regional, then I would want Killington as the beast or New Jersey. And if Killington or New Jersey is the regional, then I'd want West Virginia for the beast for the series. I think you hit the spotlight races, the historical races.
Spotlight. We got
Historic.
we're assuming it's going to be the full calendar year, or are we thinking it's going
like
to
you
be
do 2 months apart, 1 month apart, just condense the season. That's a good point.
Yeah, I don't
If
know.
it's only 3 races. You might. I mean, then it actually makes sense to stretch it out.
Just do a trifecta weekend, knock the whole thing out.
Just have it all Greece, like and our dates Greece.
Yeah.
But it makes Greece more of a viable race for a lot of these people. If you only have a 3-race series, you're only committed to 5 races if you do everything. Why not do trifecta? Why not do a 24-hour race?
I would not do a 24-hour race. But
What if it was Deca?
If it was Deca, I'm in.
no.
Where would you put it? Choose your 4 locations.
I like Seattle for a super. It's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
I would go Palmerton or Killington for an East Coast one. Killington if it's a beast, so that you have a non-elevation one. Palmerton because it's just an iconic venue, and I think that they had the potential to do it this past year. That would have been great. And now you need something in the central U.S.
You don't.
I don't think so. At that
They've
point,
already alienated us. Let's just stick to it.
Yeah,
Get
we
the
don't need to
best
bring it
courses.
back in. Yeah.
yeah, West Virginia. You got to get that in there somehow.
Could you repeat those, Jack? What were they?
West Virginia. Let's go Palmerton and Seattle.
I don't disagree. I mean, like you'd like to see like a San Jose or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
What was the other iconic course that they have there?
Monterey.
Monterey. Yeah, something like that, where it is where the terrain is just completely different.
Yeah.
And like it's still undulating.
Something flat,
West Coast.
something steep,
Yep.
something that's a mix of it all.
So Monterey Super. I'd like the Killington Beast idea. I think that's awesome. I think that'd be really fun to get the
It's
elites
just
there.
such bad timing with OCR Worlds 2 weeks later, and how
It doesn't have to be
everybody-
then, right?
OCR Worlds might not exist, right? Could that just be gone? Why don't you just make it the same? We'll just make OCR World Championships at Killington. Done.
I wonder if that's part of their 3-race series.
It might be.
Because now you have time and
twist.
space to do OCR. Maybe they're going to build around that because they own it now.
No. That would be great, but they'd be like, oh wait,
still have to screw them
We have this OCR World Championship race too. What do we do with this?
Guys, I have this calendar notification from last year to just screw with OCR Worlds. Are we still doing that? Like, I think we got it, man.
Yep. Put it on the topic
Set a
for
reminder.
today's meeting.
Yeah.
Then, so for a sprint, I mean, do we do Jacksonville for that then? Do we just say
No.
like Palm Beach?
You could do Seattle sprint.
Yeah.
I guess it meant, yeah, I guess you
Why
could.
would you do that?
I guess you could do like
Do
go
you want another thing
international.
that they actually have to consider? And I saw this on the calendar. You know that we haven't talked about it at this point, but that super high prize money race in Saudi Arabia for Tough Mudder, the 8-hour one.
Yeah.
That's the same exact weekend as Jacksonville. So if you want the right people, that everybody is going to be in Saudi Arabia. You already heard from plenty of people who are traveling over there. You don't want this revamped national series to be on that weekend. So not just due to race fatigue being at that, or venue fatigue, I think that they should not choose that weekend for
I think they should.
conflict.
Yeah, just do it.
So you can
Race
snipe
brain
in.
podium.
Get in there.
Brain podium.
We'll be out there.
Or
Nice.
would we be too busy rabbiting? Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Rabbiting from the front, from the top three.
Yeah. Got a GoPro on my face.
Listen, I'm completing the obstacles just in case I can snake a podium.
Yeah.
And then, is there a Texas race that makes sense? We've never been to like is the Austin Sprint or something?
It's
That's
Glen
about as
Rose
fun
or
as Fort
nothing.
Carson.
What's that?
I said
I
Glen
think-
Rose or nothing.
Yeah, I think those venues are about as fun as Fort Carson. So Rich, don't. Put
Oh,
them in
really?
there.
That's
Yeah.
like that?
Not fun.
I don't know. A sprint, literally anywhere. Who cares?
What are the most iconic U.S. courses? Seattle.
It's like- Yeah, Seattle,
Killington, Palmerton, New Jersey.
Killington,
Wow.
Tahoe. If we bring back Tahoe.
Yeah.
Not only is Tahoe gone, Big Bear's gone.
Big Bear's out?
Big Bear's out.
Check the calendar, Jack. That's
All right.
the word on the streets.
Dang.
Really?
All right. Let's move
Enough of
along.
that.
Let's move along. We've talked about this plenty. It's some good changes.
We've been
Seems
way
like it's
too
gonna be fun.
positive.
Way too positive. What can we
What are you
talk
talking
about,
about?
now?
Big Bear, Sprint Super Beast and Trail in May.
That doesn't sound right.
I don't
Those
know.
fake news.
I believe Brakken.
What? I've got the Spartan 2024 schedule right there.
You
May.
shouldn't believe Spartan.
Big Bear. It has a trifecta.
Well, we're going to
symbol
edit
next
this
to it.
out. Right,
Yeah.
right, Rich?
We can do that. Yeah. I'm making a timestamp right now to make sure I go ahead and edit this. The Hyrox Birmingham was this past weekend. On the men's side, we had Sadiq El Fatouri finishing with the win, who is good. He ran in Madrid, the same race. He was, I think, one spot just ahead of me. So respect. I got
He's
that
real
Dylan.
good then.
I got that Dylan Brooks attitude. I don't respect you till you give me 40. And then so he gave me 40 on that. So shouts to him.
Dylan
But
Brooks
Rand-
respects a lot of dudes then.
And then Braun actually gave him 40. Adam Curlett was winning the entire race, and then Sadiq caught him at like the very, I think after lunges or the run after lunges, something like that. And then Mark Lynch finished out. This was Sadiq was 61.04, Adam was 61.27, and Mark was 62.03. Word is sleds were slow. Seems that's just going to be like the deal.
That's 2023 for us.
It's just going to
just the
be the
new
deal.
The year of the sled.
Year of the sled being slow. And England in general, those courses aren't necessarily going to be super, super quick.
Yeah.
On the women's side, we had Kate Davey taking the W6850. Jade Skillen was 71.41. And Shawnee Gibson was 75.17. So Marcus Wallace just brought this to our attention. No one has broken into the Elite 15 on either, except besides Camilla Massa. And I think she was already in the Elite 15. She's really the only one who's improved her time since last year. There's been in all these races, no one has gotten in. And I think we haven't seen a lot of the top athletes race yet, but there's no one new who's going to be in these, it seems like.
Well, that's because athlete ability levels never change, and the best 15 from last year are 100% guaranteed to be the best 15 this year,
No
right?
doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. So
Don't
I
give
don't even know
people
why,
a chance to prove otherwise.
I don't even know why they
lock
give
'em
you
in.
an opportunity
Yeah.
to try to race your way into the 15 because it's not going to change. Duh.
We'll know very soon once Lauren and Meg and some of the other world championship podium contenders give it a shot. But we've seen Dylan already. We've seen you. We saw a pretty loaded field in Madrid, and it's like no one snuck in there with that competition. It's pretty surprising.
Yeah, and really the story out in Birmingham was the doubles, men's doubles. There was a world record attempt. Whenever it's like, oh, we're going after the world record, I always think that that's like it's like when aren't you going for the world record? If you have a chance to set the world record, like if you're that fit, like is there a time like I'm not going for the world record this time? When you're like calling a shot, like world record attempt in like a running race is always interesting to me. But Hunter and Jonathan won running 49:39, did not set the world record. That is, Jackie, you know this off the top of your head? It's 48 something, right?
Michael Sambach, he did a lot. Yeah, it was
And
48
Vinish.
high.
Tim Vinish. Yeah.
Tim, yep.
48 high.
Yeah.
I looked
I'll
at
look
this,
it up,
Rich,
but
and I thought we're
in that
sub
mix.
50 guys.
We're in that mix. I agree. Our time was what? 51.
51, 13 or 17. And,
Yeah,
and then a group just went 51-13 in that race.
Well, Graham Holiday and James Kelly, who were both in the Elite 15 last year, were 57.
Yeah. And you were dealing with half of a teammate.
BK, we were a team.
We were a
But
team.
you weren't in that Bustin' Logan Broadbent ass shape last year.
wait till 3 weeks when Brakken and I step on the course.
World record attempt
Oh yeah.
is happening. I mean,
We
you
talked
guys could
strategy
do
already.
really well. I mean, like, what do you guys think you're gonna do? Like
What do you think?
Like,
You've got some insights.
52 flat? I don't know. 50.
We're
Like,
thinking
why not?
53.
53?
Jack had a fractured kneecap like 7 weeks ago.
So you think the running is going to be the issue, right?
Yeah. We're gonna have a really
Stations
strong,
will be fine.
We have a good game plan. I think it's gonna go well.
We had a powwow yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Nice chat.
I'm interested. You guys are going to be, dude, Chicago's going to be a thing, man. I'm going to be.
What time's because you're not in the
I have
pro
no
wave.
idea. I have no idea what they're going to do.
I'm assuming it's an 8 a.m. They had one
For you.
Yeah, for me, sorry, for doubles. And then they're probably going to send off elite women afterwards, and then hopefully the fastest of the fast age group men afterwards. So I'm assuming you'll be before lunchtime.
I heard that they're going to do the Elite 15 around like 11 a.m. for men. So really the
It's good.
so that I would think the pro men, the B heat, which is going to be stacked, would be right before that.
Yeah.
Right? So they don't
Generally.
have to, because then if they do, or right after, right?
Or
If
right
they do
after.
elite women first, after the open men go, because if it's doubles men, then it could be pro women, then it could be elite women, then they add weight to the sleds for elite men, then they rechange the course and put the pro men out there, and then take the weights off and do
Then you
opens.
start subtracting weight. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's their main thing. They just want to make sure the weights, they're not like
Yeah.
changing the weight over and over, because
And you
not 100% hit rate on making sure those plates stay consistent.
Nope. I actually got a message from Glenn Race on that topic on the weights. But real quick, it was 48:52 for their time. But Glenn Race, he sent me something where basically you have a pull chain. It tells you how much force you need to pull something, and it'll take into account friction and everything like that. And if they just set, here
They're
is
doing that.
our known thing. You know,
They're using
they
that.
just
They have been.
yeah. Oh, they have been.
They have.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
I think it's more just like, then it's consistency, but they don't do it for all of the lanes.
Okay.
You know? They're doing it for like one time, maybe on the course or in the warm-up area.
Before the carpet gets bunched up and all that. Yeah.
Because I think I was telling you guys, in Hong Kong last year, they added 40 kilos, like 90 pounds to that sled, and they still pushed it in 145. You know,
Well, it's
they were
like, do
trying
you
to
tug
figure
on
it
lane
out.
1 or lane 8? That's going to make a difference.
For sure. But they are using that thing, Jack. Yeah,
Okay.
so that is something that they're trying. They're just
job,
like,
Glenn.
it's just,
Yeah, Glenn's listening to this. You should be embarrassed for not paying better attention.
come on, bruh.
Just kidding.
Yeah, he came to the same correct conclusion.
For sure. So
How
doubles-
pissed off would you be, though, if you ran up to it and your lane had 4 more plates than like 3 lanes
right,
over?
right.
Like, hey, it's the Drake coefficient,
I
man.
swear it's the same.
Right,
Brian, you know what? When you start pulling on the sled pull, I'm gonna get out my calipers and just start being like, this is too heavy. I'm taking off a weight. Just do that.
At that point, I mean, right now, you might as well, just so people can see and be like, wait, this is unfair. Where now you can't really see what's fair and not fair.
Yeah.
And it's like,
You just look like you suck or like you're great.
I hope this is going to go well. And if
Hope
it
it's
doesn't,
good.
you better be good, have good running fitness in
Yeah.
those legs later on. The But this is interesting because doubles now, well, last year even at Worlds, they had it on the second day. Doubles might be like a fun visual race. I'm actually not sure. It should be, right?
Fast.
It's faster. It's like 10 minutes faster, right? So it's like that much shorter.
And there's no rest time. That's the biggest, to me, other than not being able to see a screen with the ergs on it showing exactly what people are all doing. So you can, otherwise it's just downtime. It's the rest time. It's when people stop and go, "Ah." Like that's not a race to me. Even though I understand why they're doing it. As a viewer, it's tough. You don't have that in doubles.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you're resting, someone's working harder than you just finished working. So it's fantastic from that point.
Did you see how fast Hunter was running with those kettlebells?
No, I saw him push a sled, and that was like there was no resistance.
Yeah. I agree with Brakken there. It's like it's just stupid.
They just announced that they're going to change they're getting new equipment for all races starting in 2024. So they have some new equipment contract with a company that is by one of the Hemsworths.
Nice.
Which Hemsworth is like the most impressive Hemsworth?
Well, in what regard? Like fitness or having been married to Miley Cyrus, or what are we talking?
Hey, whatever is impressive to you. We're getting some of that feedback again. Jack, it's Jack. It's clearly Jack.
He just told on himself.
Go ahead and
I'm not hearing anything.
Go ahead and unplug and replug. We'll see you later. You figure this out. We're gonna have this Hemsworth situation sorted out by the time you get back.
Chris Hemsworth is big into fitness.
I think he is the one who owns this company that is slipping my mind right now.
Yeah, I'm blanking on that.
I will try to find.
Well, they have to then reset the Elite 15 times with new equipment,
right? So maybe they are going to wipe. Maybe they are going to wipe the times, but that wouldn't.
Sucks that you went to Spain.
Well, it's not like that time mattered anyway. But it's not going to like when the calendar turns 2024. There's no opportunities in the United States to then qualify for either of the remaining two major championships, because the next race is late February in Miami, which is not within the window to qualify for DC. So they almost like can't wipe the times. I mean, I guess they could and just be like, whatever, like all Europeans are in this race, which is basically what it is anyway. But I don't know, right? Like,
they have to start a new leaderboard with new equipment.
They should. I don't know if they will.
Or they're just going to let it filter out.
What do you mean?
Time. Like, 2 years from now, who cares? No one remembers.
Right. They're just going to be like, this might be extremely different than what you're used to, or it might not matter that much at all. It might not matter that much at all, especially if they got that drag situation.
Well, but when you say equipment, what are we talking?
All of it.
Rower?
Oh, no. That you're right. So Concept 2 is still going to be, I believe it's still Concept 2 is still going to be doing the ski and the row. That would be crazy if they change that. That would suck so bad.
It wouldn't even matter if they're all the same, right? But it would change the times drastically.
You're not going to offset someone's time, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're wiping the slate with times, then it doesn't matter what they choose.
Right. I'm sure they're just going to be like, it's not going to be a problem. And I guess there was some talk that at least within Hyrox and some of these threads or whatever I was reading was saying that like they are trying to figure out some sort of surface solution as well. But that could just be like everyone's banging the drum like these carpets are messed up, these surfaces are wrong, this like lane by lane is all messed up. And they're going to be like, let's just say that we're working on it and then just
maybe they'll forget.
Not work on it. Yeah.
Okay, what's the only way to make the sleds equal venue to venue?
You need a raised surface
tanks.
Like that you can guarantee that's the surface type every single time.
You have to have one giant stock of the same carpet, and it has to be new for every Pro Wave. That's the only way. The surface has to be brand new for every Pro Wave.
Yes.
It has to be from the same stock. That'll never happen
Never happened.
unless the pros go first every single time or they bring new carpet out. So working on the surface is fine, but it's going to degrade over time unless it's a surface where it's just like always like it's marble.
Or they just use the torque tanks. Something that is, I mean, even those are a little surface dependent, but not nearly as much as
The tires,
dog
you
sleds.
can inflate them a little more or
Yeah,
less. and that
right.
could-
There's definitely some variation. It doesn't seem to be as drastic as
Yeah.
like the
How
dog
heavy
sleds
can you
would be.
make? How nasty can you make torque tanks?
Oh, I pulled like 700 pounds at Kent's house. Like,
If
I mean,
you
does it
if you
change it a ton?
if you deflate the tires, it does.
doable. Yeah. It's
But, like,
definitely
yeah, if you
tire
look-
based. Yeah.
You can put 1,000 pounds on it. If it's a flat surface, it's not going to matter very much.
Okay.
So I don't know. It doesn't seem like I don't know. Whatever. It's called center fit with no E. Only one E in center. Leaving out that last E. Centerer. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that's cool, I guess.
Sure.
Whatever.
Maybe Thor will show up himself.
That'd be sick. What do you think he runs a 400 in?
Sub 60.
With the
70,
hammer?
79.
79 seems more realistic with that big ass hammer. That shit's got to weigh at least like what?
Oh, Jared Newby could do it.
Well, yeah, if we're
There's
talking.
nothing that man can't do.
Jared Newby would.
Except win in fantasy football.
Oh, no, he's definitely not doing that. But Jared would definitely work Thor in any type of loaded run scenario.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that dude's cardio is
I
like.
did get a correction, by the way, speaking of hybrid, for the Deca Fit Ultra. So apparently, I think it was Dust to Glory, already held
Yes.
Deca Fit Ultra. So
Yeah.
Really?
Someone chimed in on our YouTube. Rob McCullum said that they've done, what is it? Okay. They've done 2 Deca Ultras, 1K of running before each zone, and 5 rounds. So 50K of running
Oh, so we still can set the first time for the new standard.
for the
the
25K.
500 meter based one, not 1,000 meter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 5 Deca Fits with a
Of
1,000
course,
meter run in
McCollum and
between.
them have, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they
And
got
that
to
was
do
in-
that.
that
Yeah,
was in
Bloomington,
and
Illinois.
apparently they had people come from Canada to do it as well. So
That tracks.
yeah,
But no
Look
one's
at that.
done this format.
they had their own medal, the Dust to Glory Ultra Finisher. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they also announced, I don't know if they officially announced this, but there is prize money splits per gender for these Hyrox majors. So there's 4 majors this year, and the money has come out. And they are paying all the way through 15. So it's looking like 6K for a win. It's 6, 4, 2,500, 2,000, 1,500, 1,000. That's for 6th place. 7th is 700, 8th 650, 9th 600, 10th 550, which is pretty good for 10th. And then 11th through 15th is 300.
So the same 11th place through 15th. You could finish 30 minutes slower, and you're getting the same money.
You could give it that Megiddo attempt, and you're still walking away with something. Just wincing, getting like
you guys
all
get
the
that?
sportsmanship. So yeah, Megiddo would have walked away with a cool $300 after that, and they are going to still kind of give some accommodation help on that as well. And must remember that this is a little bit less than what the money was last year for the regional open championships, whatever baloney they were talking about. But now there's more opportunities, right? There's 4 opportunities to win this amount.
So how much
Yeah,
does that add up to?
I don't know, Jack. You're the freaking
I thought you were gonna reveal it at the end. I wasn't adding it in my mind.
the total. Is that what we're waiting for?
Yeah,
Is that what the people want?
yeah. I want to know how much money they're giving.
Lots. That's
Okay.
per gender too.
I
Per gender.
volunteer to wait until Jack has it added up.
Give me the numbers. I'll add it up right now.
I can't. I'm just gonna. I'll put it up. I'll do the Jack scenario. I just hold my phone and you
Okay,
you
sweet.
add it up, so I don't have to talk about it again. We already
Okay.
talked about it. So, and like this is just they really just do seem to want to have the exact same people at every single race,
Yeah.
and now like incentivizing people to show up and get 10th and still walk away with $550. Like that'll pay for most flights, especially international. I mean, to come over here, I mean, it might be a chunk of it. But yeah, they are heavily incentivizing the people in the Elite 15 to show up.
21,500 per gender, so 43 total.
43 per event times
$43,000. Yeah,
and not even with the World Championships. They're giving away a lot of money this year.
That Puma money.
That Puma money coming through. Yeah. So I mean, like this is interesting. I mean, it's good, right? Like, do we need to see 11th through 15th? Like, do we need that $1,500?
My solution on that: get rid of it for 11 to 15, redistribute it, and that'll disincentivize some of the people who got in and like just secured their spot last year from wanting to travel. And it'll open it up to some of the local athletes who it's like, hey, no one new has got in this entire season. Maybe there's something wrong with the formula.
They don't. I don't think they want new people in. I honestly don't think they want new people in.
Yeah,
storylines, baby.
For storylines. So for consistency of story.
Yeah.
So it's good money for up top. And if you go to 2 or 3 of those and land in the top 3, it's pretty good. It's like a pretty good earnings, I think.
So what year is this of Hyrox? Is this year 4 next year?
6?
No, 6.
No.
6?
Yeah.
At the top of their website, it says season blank, and I think it's 6 now.
But year 1 was only one event, right?
No, they had a few in
just
Germany.
Yeah,
their new website is annoying for searching for stuff. Like they redid it, and it's hard to find like the all-time rankings by race.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit better for some things because you can get like the live events and the start line stuff that's coming up, which
18,
is nice.
19 was their first, so this is season number 6.
Yeah, and the first one wasn't a full season. So basically, this is like 2015 Spartan.
When was Spartan really shelling it out?
And this is Reebok coming into it. This is Racket. Like they're following that trajectory. They got a big sponsor. They're putting out prize money. Everyone's going to be showing up. Like we've seen this before. And so they have their Puma to their Reebok. They have this big momentum going. So the question will become, how do they avoid what happened? The pitfalls. Global pandemic had a big part of it, but the writing was already on the wall.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if that if Spartan would be thriving without the pandemic, right? Like,
right.
And yeah, it's
it
like
hastened what was already going to happen.
But yeah,
it definitely hurt. I mean, it hurt everybody.
Yeah,
hurt everybody, right? How to avoid? I don't know. Like, and it depends. Is like, is Spartan Race, if you looked at it from an outsider perspective, just numbers, right? Like, would you consider Spartan Race to be a failure, right? Like, I think in terms of sport, like, yes, like they've done a disservice to what they were building by divesting from the pro side, from really not caring about the athletes, not listening to them, not doing what is the best interest of athletes. But like, it seems to be kind of growing again, right? Like people are showing up for these events. And I think Hyrox would like to just expand, right? They're just expanding like crazy. I don't know. Like, and they haven't done much to show that the sport is what they care about in terms of success. So I don't know. Like, is that what you want to talk about? How to make the sports side?
I don't know how much I want to talk about it. It's just suddenly, as you pulled that up, I thought, I've looked at these lists before. Like I've seen these charts. This is reminiscent of peak Spartan.
They're following the Spartan
TV
playbook.
contract. You got your Puma, Reebok. Suddenly we're paying out deep. It got to that point where we're like, we might as well just show up because we're going to cover our cost just by taking 10th. We've had these same conversations about another brand already, and then it tailed off, and now they're trying to resurge this year. So it was just, I don't know if I had a plan other than it just suddenly struck me. I've seen this same screen share before.
Brakken, you were there kind of since the beginning. You weren't in 2010, but you were in 2011. But 2010, Spartan Race had like 7 races. They were all in the U.S. and Canada. 2011, they had like 20 or 30 races, all U.S. and Canada. They finally went to Europe in 2012, which was season 3. We finally got Miami. early stages, it was just Germany and Austria for the most part, and then
Vegas.
you're nailing it, yeah. And then
First
then
World
Vegas
Championship Las
happened.
Vegas.
Yep. And now we're starting to get the complaints on the qualifying system and everything. And when did that start happening with Spartan from the athlete side? Because it seemed like Hyrox, they're doing a great job, like all positive, and then this year we've kind of had a little bit of pushback.
Well, I think that the difference there is that us media didn't exist early in Spartan, and even social media was in its infancy. I know we've been really negative at times, but I truly believe that's necessary to keep people accountable.
Yeah.
It's not justifying sometimes if I have a negative take that I shouldn't, but having these...
It's just critical. And negativity, it's like it's critiques. I wouldn't necessarily be like,
look
we're
at
just
how
being
non-negative we were today with Spartans news.
Right.
We're like, you guys
Or
nailed
positive.
it. All you have to do is
There
nail
weren't
it.
talking
and then-
head shows back then with Spartan. And if information was disseminated as widely and easily back then, there's a chance that this would have happened earlier. But we've already seen Hyrox make adjustments that make sense. They haven't fixed qualification, but it already is better, just like 9 months later than it was 9 months previous. And Spartan had a much longer, this has been like a 5-year progression of us criticizing more each year. And finally this year, we're like, hey, this makes sense. That's great. Hyrox has really cut that cycle shorter. So I think the questions would have been there with Spartan. There just was no one to hear it or talk about it. Not no one, but...
You had Matt B. Davis runs. That existed as a podcast back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're just following that playbook, man, and that's just one thing that I'm concerned about from the athlete side, right? Like, and if you follow like kind of the Spartan just from the athlete perspective, it was very painful for athletes to then get less than what they got the year before, and when things would kind of tail off, when really they shouldn't have gotten all that in the first place, right? Like,
Probably not.
like there
Don't
needs
tell
to
that
be.
to Brakken.
Well, they were using
I
it as
never
a mark.
deserved what I got.
Hey, that's life motto. And you're fine. But like over like valuing athletes when there's no proof that this concept is going to work for the viewing public is a mistake. Right. And I think that's what Spartan did. And they really jumped the gun on trying to make the sport legitimate by overspending and like investing in it. But it was marketing. It wasn't.
I actually disagree.
Really?
I think they undercut themselves. They paid appropriately for how they were growing, but then they slashed marketing and production budgets. And then suddenly people
marketing.
weren't seeing it anymore.
But they weren't making money. Like the money that they were putting into the sport for production and marketing didn't come from the sport. It came from the like registering public. So they weren't reinvesting the money that they knew could come in to then support the sport side. They took it from elsewhere. And there was no evidence that this sport could float on its own. And then when they're like, this sport isn't a sport, let's cut the sports side. People are like, wait, why? It's like, because it's not valuable. They didn't try to make it valuable. Right?
I don't know if I fully agree. I think that as long as they had a TV show, they had a self-sustaining economy of new eyes seeing it constantly and coming out and trying an open wave. And
But
as
no
soon as
more
they
like
lost
ticket
TV,
anymore.
There weren't like ticket sales. There weren't like advertising
Kirk
sales.
DeWitt signed up because of it.
I think there
There
were.
were plenty of others.
But you couldn't know where that came from.
You couldn't know.
was like-
that
it was like
that was
broad
always
mar-
their thing. We
Right,
can't
it's-
prove your ROI.
It's broad marketing where like if you did have a TV show and like or whatever and like advertisers could pay for that, maybe you could directly be like, okay, this is growing, this is good, like we can ticket sales, whatever. Then you'd be like, people care about this sport. People cared about the event. And Hyrox seems to be doing the same thing. Because giving away this much money, they have no business doing that. Right? Because the sport brings in $0 for them. Because not because it can't, but the actual registering public is the easiest way and where they can kind of grow right now.
Well, who are they probably getting a lot of their market from? Is probably CrossFitters who like to run realistically. Like, it's an intimidating sport. I don't think you're getting too many casual people to sign up for Hyrox. And like you've seen Chandler Smith and Jacob Hepner, they did that promotional race against Hunter. You've seen Ricky Garrard enter at James Newbury. I think that there is power to marketing high level athletes like that in Hyrox.
But yeah, no, but it's marketing. That's what I'm saying. It's not the sport is not making the money.
No, the sport's not making the money, but the sport is marketable to bring in sponsors. And Hyrox is like Spartan was early, where they have sponsors clamoring to be a part of it. And the leg up they have is that every one of their participants is a physically desirable person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge marketing point for them. And so they have these pro waves that look impressive, and sponsors want to be part of this sport and have all the waves come through. But it's just such a different clientele that I believe that having the sport part is half of the reason that they can even bring in the sponsorship money they do. And if this money they're giving away came from a sponsor, they have every right giving it away. If they're paying it out of their pocket and they can't prove where it came from, I agree with you.
Right. Maybe. I mean, maybe. But like, wouldn't you think that that money from the sponsors would be better suited to then figure out broadcasting, figuring out how to market the sport? Like, because like now they're not showing, and maybe they will. I mean, the coverage of the World Championship last year was great. I'm hoping they ball out for these majors and it looks awesome, and they invest in like professionals to commentate. You know, no offense to the commentators of the Chicago Championship last year, right? Because they were great, they were amazing. But
you have to, if you want to sell the sport at all, it can't be grainy.
It can't be green. Right. And that's where I think that they're like, if they were serious about growing the sport, like I would like to see that investment there. And I think I don't think that people need this. I don't think this much money. Like, I just don't know. It's like they're trying to make, which I can respect if they're trying to make these 15 people like they're influencers, right? Which is something I don't think Spartan ever did a good job of. Right.
Never.
Maybe a couple people at the top with the NBC, like they had people that they could kind of be like, this is our influencer type of person who's popular. Maybe that's what they're trying to do by not making it easy for new people to come in. But I don't know. I worry that they're going to be like, okay, we've tried a little bit with try to make this sport part of our business, but it's not putting butts in seats.
Well, we've already talked about, if you want to go, Brakken.
No.
Okay. We've already talked about tape delay versus like live, and how Richie just reiterated how grainy isn't good. Did you see what they're doing and it's on ESPN too. It's not on ESPN, but on Sunday, they already had it. I don't have cable, so I didn't see it, but they had Finding the Fittest on ESPN for a 2-hour recap of the CrossFit Games, and that's 2 months later. So I feel like as long as you nail it, that's how you can promote, even if it's a little tape delayed. You're just exposing it to people who aren't aware. You don't need it live necessarily.
Those always stink. Hyrox did that too, and it was a 60-minute commercial. It wasn't about the sport at all.
Yeah, and we're all saying this assuming or knowing that we don't know what they're putting towards a production this year. They might already have that in place.
For sure. That's
I
a good
I haven't
caveat.
heard anything.
Same.
Like no one said, "Hey,
no one's been up in your ear." Are you going to be commentating? We heard there's going to be some fucking horses out there for the doubles in Chicago. We'd love to have someone commentate that. You know, like, hey,
maybe they can test the coverage on us.
I'm just going to be on Race Brain IG going nuts.
Yeah,
how we roll.
We need to get jerseys. We need to get something that we match, Brakken. We've got like 2.5 weeks.
We have mod. We already have mod jerseys. If we need them,
I could bring.
I've never received one of those.
Rich has one. I have one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just make
Problem
as long
solved.
as it's medium.
Do you look good in black and pink?
Send those 10,000. Send some 10,000 shorts your way. Did you keep the liner in those, BK? Or did you cut those out?
I just snipped it out like 3 weeks ago.
Oh wow,
I can't run in a liner. It's
too
so
tight.
uncomfortable.
It's a little snug, but it does loosen up if you just give it some time. So we'll see. I mean,
alone will loosen that up.
This type of I'm my main thing with this type of money this often, this early, it's great for the athletes who can win that money.
It's Battle Frog.
But it's going to be really painful when Hyrox is like, we've been trying to tell you this whole time that we don't really care, and now we're just going to show you that we don't really care, and we're going to divest completely. If it's going to follow the Spartan blueprint, which it seems to be like dead set on, as an athlete, I would warn, like, there's going to be a time where this felt like they were very much catering to you, and that it's going to go away.
Get on it now.
I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, if it's going to happen either way, it's going to happen. Like, take your money while you can get it. I think the cautionary tale is to the athletes not to quit your day job.
Not to that's what I mean.
Yeah, there isn't a guaranteed pot at the end of this rainbow.
They don't
Rainbow
owe you
might
anything.
just end unceremoniously. So you use it to enhance yourself now, but it's not necessarily going to be your retirement. It's what it leads to.
When the Spartan pro team, like the top pro team guys, I think BK, you're up in this conversation. What were they calling it? The Spartan strike? What are they calling that shit?
Spartan protest.
Nice wordplay.
I've got another wordplay later, but
for Jack's facts. But
race brain
did that work at all? Like when everyone's like, our likeness is being used to sell this thing. We deserve this and that. Like, I kind of do this on the other side. It's like, this company doesn't owe you shit. Like, you shouldn't have like acted like they do, that you are disposable to them. Like, did that help the Spartan Pro test?
No, but 3 months later, COVID hit and the whole season was canceled. So
I guess, but they were already divesting again. They're divesting before COVID.
I don't think it was going to help, but it was more like, we're calling you out publicly finally, and everyone's going to know why we're not showing up anymore. It was less about, we hope it's really going to make a difference. And it was more like, maybe if we say it loud enough, all the influencers will stop doing it for free. Like, we had already lost the shine on Spartan, and we had already decided this isn't going to be our life anymore. But we're tired of seeing you use people. At least maybe they'll stop doing it all for free.
Okay.
And there was also conversations trying to make it. They was supposed to be going towards the Olympics, right? It was that was the big time.
What do you mean
They're gonna
supposed
make
to?
this world everything. So
Yeah.
the hope was that this would lead to an athlete union, which would have say in directing the future of the sport. So we didn't really care if we got our money. We wanted to make sure that future generations were set up to succeed fairly. That was really what the push was for. But it all went off the rails anyway.
Spin. That was the spin. But everyone in there was like, but I would really like to get that money back. But remember when I had that contract where they would fly me anywhere? That was pretty sick. If they could do that again.
We knew that wasn't coming back.
But it's for the future. It's for the kids.
I mean, look who was leading
BJs.
Who was in on the conversations? Amelia Boone, myself, Nicole Miracle. Like it was a bunch of people that don't have a lot to be gained in the moment. Nicole did.
Yeah, Nicole
like, what's
did.
Amelia
I
Boone
thought it was
gonna
like
do?
Kempson and
Kempson was part of it. Kempson didn't care, right? He was there just to like, let's do the right thing. He doesn't care to ever work with Spartan. He never did.
right.
Like, what was I gonna do? Suddenly make the Olympics? No, like it was legitimately the old heads in the group just wanted to see it not repeated in the future.
Killian was there, yeah.
But here we are with Hyrox. Hyrox is
Well, this is
doing
why we're chatting about it now, ahead of the time.
Hyrox is repeating it.
I don't think they
They're
are.
gonna
I think that their rise was reminiscent, but
Rich
they
is
seem
like,
to have
no.
they're in the fitness sphere. Spartan was desperate to get into gyms and didn't know how to. Because what do you sell to a gym? It wasn't until they had DECA that they could sell anything to a gym. Hyrox is made for gyms, and that alone gives it staying power.
Yeah, well, from a business standpoint, yes. I'm just worried about the sport. That's where I don't know. Like, they don't seem committed to the sport really in many ways, and we are so into the sport that maybe we're like sport. But on their end, I think that it's like event, ticket sales, marketing, and then like sport is probably like. So I worry about the health.
I
was
misunderstanding you.
Yeah, I think that the health of the company. That's what I mean. Like, they're not this. It's not the same thing. Like, I don't think people are going to stop doing Hyrox if a bunch of pro Hyrox athletes come together in protest.
I guess where I was seeing you wrong is that I don't have hope for the future of a new sport, because I don't know of any more than like 2 sports that have been created in my lifetime that became a thing. You have MMA and maybe CrossFit. I can't think of any other new sports that last. So my take is that this won't last past 5 or 10 years.
Triathlon isn't that old.
That was in the 80s, though. Early 80s.
Yeah, it's not.
I think it predates you by a couple years. So.
Yeah. But think of any new sport that came up and like there's going to be maybe X Games, I suppose. But they're few and far between. Yeah. And so for this to work, it's going to have to be the exception of our generation. So I don't expect it to work long term. I expect it to fill the gap for 5 to 10 years until the next thing comes along. So I guess I'm not looking long term like you are.
I think that there can be a derivative of this. I think that there is a viable option for this to become like a triathlon, where like it's just accessible and it's just like easy to train for. A lot of people can like wrap their heads around it. And I think if it's done well, it can become similar to that. Like visually, it makes sense. Like it should be easier. Like OCR is just like it's just so hard to consume, right? So right from the start, it's like this is going to be impossible to build fandom because like you can't watch it. Like I think Hyrox, it's easy to digest how to train for it, how to compete in it, and how to watch it. I think it has a lot of those elements, or just like a hybrid race in general. So that could be the thing, right? Maybe this is a stopgap, or maybe it's the start of something that does happen 5 or 10 years down the road that can be more sport, even if it does take place like how a triathlon does, where it's like a governing body and they'd have a bunch of different sanctioned events, and maybe that culminates into something. But it's not. I don't think it's gonna be Hyrox.
Who are your 3 favorite marathoners right now?
Ooh, right now? Let me check my list. Let me check my list.
No, name them. I just need names. Doesn't matter.
I gotta check my list.
Yeah,
I don't have a list of top marathoners right now.
Yeah,
dude.
that's easy.
Favorite?
Everyone knows Kipchoge, but that's
not my
kind of
favorite.
Yeah, I know. But my point
The
is,
BYU guy's name is slipping my mind right now. What's that dude's name?
Connor Mantz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Connor
like Don
Mantz.
Nascimento from Brazil. I think he's a dog.
Yeah,
I like him.
But
Just
my
lays
point
down.
is marathon
Like
coverage.
Yuki.
Like you know how to train for it. It's not too crazy. Like everyone knows how. You can see the athletes, and it's crystal clear on TV for all this race coverage, and you still can't even name like the best athletes. So it's like, are the athletes just disposable at the end of the day?
It's not that fun to watch.
My take for it to be a long-term sport that the public loves, it either has to be a spectacle that they can watch every single week, like a league, which this probably can't be, or it has to be something that they themselves can make it their hobby and see some sort of improvement for at least a decade. Like triathlon, you can get better for a decade.
Yeah.
Marathon running, you can get better as long as you want to. How long can you train Hyrox for and get better at it? I don't
Depending
know.
on what the sleds are like.
I don't see
I don't
why
know
not.
what that. I don't know if someone's going to still want to be
It's
training
repeatable,
Hyrox
though.
5
I think
years
you
from
can.
now.
What you would want to do for triathlon? Like triathlon's way more
Yeah, but what is
boring.
triathlon comprised of? 3 sports that people do for life: running, swimming, and biking. Even once you stop improving at some of those, it's a way of life. So lifting has that, running has that. I don't know a ton of people who are erg for life people, but there are some. But like lunges, wall balls, I just don't know how long term. So I agree with you that I think there's a version of this that is that potential new Power 5 sport or whatever you'd want to call it. But I don't know if it's Hyrox per se.
Right. I would agree with that, and I don't think that I don't think they're aiming for that to be the case. I think they're looking at it from a business perspective. Like, this is a huge risk. It's going to cost a ton of money. It's really competitive. It's super saturated. Nobody's done it in the past. Like, to your point, no one can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just sell some tickets to some people to get them to these events and expand the events, right? And like maybe they can bud off the sports side and sell that somehow, or profit on it some way or another, or someone else comes in if they do sell the whole company and that turns into something. But I don't think they're trying to. That's just not something they want to do. It's just too hard. It's too hard.
Yeah.
It's also hard in multiple continents, like especially they're expanding to Asia. And like if you look at the big 4 sports leagues in the U.S. and North America, like they're talking about a couple franchises potentially in Europe for the NFL, but like you've never seen a franchise outside of the primary continent. I just think it's really hard with them trying to
Have like
expand into all these all these other markets to accomplish everything we've talked about.
Right. Yeah, I should just try harder. How about that?
Yeah.
That's how all I got to do. Mind over matter.
Not with that
All right.
attitude.
That was fun. We have a couple cool events coming up. Do we have anything next week, Jack?
2
What's
weeks.
popping this weekend?
That's the big stuff.
Battle Bunker. Big Battle Bunker preview. We just ran out of time. We were going to do a big preview, but we just couldn't fit it in.
Watch it.
But that's happening. You can watch that. Our guy Joe Roberto is on the microphone. BK's not. But Joe Roberto's on there. And so we got that this weekend. What do we got? And then we have Hyrox Chicago is the 10th, 11th?
11th.
The 11-11.
11th, baby. Anything else? What do we got on? What's our next obstacle race?
We've got Trifecta World Championship in Greece.
When's
first
that?
weekend of November, so 2 weeks.
Nice.
So
we're gonna draft for
potentially
that?
next week we might be doing a draft.
We're going to draft for that?
Yes.
I'd like to.
Hell yeah.
I'll try to get the list.
I want to
Hell
pick
yeah.
first.
We'll see what the Wheel of Names has to say about that.
Yeah, whatever you pick, it's not going to help. You went 0-4 at OCR Worlds. And then we've got World's Toughest Mudder
Spice.
right after that.
Kick him out of here, Rich. His connection's about to fail.
I already did that twice.
His
I do have a race
microphone's about
brain
to get
teaser
wobbly.
if you want to do that beforehand.
Let's hit that. Oh,
There was
then?
a really, really big accomplishment that happened this weekend with an athlete winning a race at Spartan. And it is not Brakken.
Whoa.
Then
Do
we
you know
don't care.
that the record for
See you
the
next week.
most the record for the most elite podiums in a season by a U.S. athlete was set? Do you know who it was?
Really?
Yeah.
At Michigan or there was another one too, right?
It was one in
Wasn't there
Dallas.
another?
Dallas.
There's Dallas.
Blue Mountain happened. What's her name?
Oh, Blue Mountain happened.
I'm blanking on her name.
There was 3
We had
Spartan
a
races.
U.S. girl head up to Blue Mountain and won.
That's not what I'm talking about. This is a guy.
Oh, well then never mind. Also, I'm sorry I'm blanking on your name.
Yeah.
I even got a nice
Ethan
message
Brown.
from you after my race.
Ethan Brown got his 20th podium of the 2023 season.
That's a big year.
It's a big year. He
That's
started
the record?
off. It used to be 19, and I was going to ask you guys to name everybody who has 19 or more podiums in a single season. There's
How
our
many
race
we
brain
talking
teaser.
about? How many?
Say it
What's
again,
the
Rich.
number? How many people have done that?
There are 2 other guys, 3 women who have had 19.
We
Robert
got this,
Killian.
BK.
Robert Killian had 19 in 2017. He had the record. Ethan just set the U.S. record.
I mean, Isaiah's had a bunch, right?
Isaiah's
do we
most
not
was
like that?
17 in a
17.
season.
That wasn't
He
my
had-
guess. I was trying to chat this out
Say
with
Elliot
Brakken.
McGuire.
Doesn't count. I know. Just mention it. Yeah.
Elliot
I'm with
McGuire would be
Brakken.
my guess.
Elliot McGuire.
18 in 2013.
18.
18, not 19.
Glenn Race?
What about like a Jordan Buscemi? Wasn't he racking them up?
Jordan Buscemi had
He got
16.
12.
Mm.
Oh, 16.
No Glenn Race.
Sheesh.
19 is a big year. Both of the guys are from Europe. 2 of the
I thought I
U.S.
said
women.
Killian had.
Or more than 19, but yeah. There are 2 other guys
Ziska.
that you're missing, basically. They're both
They're from Europe.
Yep.
Ziska?
Yep. Peter, 26, 2019. That's the all-time record for male or female.
How many?
Same exact year. Another European.
26.
26.
26.
That's insane.
One more European dude. I got nothing.
You're not going to get him.
Oh.
Go ahead, Brock. Go try. You're not going to get him.
Okay,
Okay,
I was going to
dude.
say, I'm blanking on his name right now, and I feel bad. He's a shorter guy, always did well at Spartan World Championships.
They're from Spain?
Is he Italian
Soler.
or Spanish?
Soler.
You think it's Soleil? No. Albert Soleil did not. The guy is actually Jacob Javiaric. He's about VJ and Ryland's age, and he's got 70 podiums, sneaking up that leaderboard. I think he's 4th all time. On the women's side, 2 U.S. women, 1 European woman.
Faye Stunning.
Yeah, Faye had
Nope.
a ton, right? What?
She had 17 twice for her highest. She never had more than that in a single season, though.
All right, who?
April D?
No, April D had 17 as well.
What's it? Oh, we're still trying to hit 9. It was 19?
Yep.
19.
Who's had 19 or more?
2 U.S., 1 Europe.
Yep. Household names
Household names, huh?
for U.S. Yeah.
Is it like Alyssa?
No. Alyssa had 16 in 2017. That's the most. You guys are bombing this. This is embarrassing.
We're naming all the best. We
Yeah, we're
had
just naming
17s
names.
and 16s.
I'm trying to think of someone to be like in
Who raced that much?
race dense areas. Yeah. I mean, I know Alyssa's not, but she was racing a lot one year. I don't know. Got nothing.
Nicole and Rhea both had 19.
Wow,
Nicole
really?
in 2019. Remember, that was the Nel Rojas year. She went over to Greece for the trifecta. She won Spartan Worlds. So
Trifecta.
she had a really busy season that year, winning multiple national series as well.
Rhea.
In 2017. One of those races, she was actually in Hawaii, and she outright won the race over all the guys as well. So that was a heck of a season. And the only woman with more than 20 is Agata Pietrusik in Europe in 2017. You would not have guessed her, so I just filled it in.
Thank you.
You don't know.
Yep. You don't know?
All right, let's wrap
You don't know
this
us.
up. Let's wrap this up. BK,
Good job,
we got
Ethan. Yeah.
what we got over at Running Public. We got you talking about how awesome you are, making excuses, being humble over there on the microphone, even though
Fake
we
humble.
know you don't feel that way. You're like,
No way.
hey, I'm back.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Mm-hmm. Wait till you see me out at Hyrox doubles in Chicago. Same result as every single year on that
They're
course.
also making that result happen.
Dragging Jack along.
For the panel, what's our highest podiums in a year?
For the panel?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have that list. I just took a screenshot.
What's yours?
Highest podiums. God,
Mine?
2, 3.
3 in 2019.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Oh, I don't know.
You
Right.
I didn't have that
You
many in
don't-
2019. That's for sure.
My list cut off at 14 in the screenshot I took, so you have 13 or fewer as your most. Not that that's bad. That's a good year.
Pretty good.
But
My guess would have been 12 or 13.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
2.
maybe it's not even that high. It would have been early days, traveling around on Spartan's dime.
Yep. And then it's gone.
That's all that matters.
Hyrox is following that
Listen up, Hyrox.
blueprint. Hey, let's wine and dine these athletes and then kick them to the curb because this sport ain't doing it. What else on the running club? Talking about how awesome you are. Did you have an interview on Friday?
My wife
Oh, nice.
filled in
That was a
for
good
me,
one.
just her and Kirk.
Whoa. Pretty cool. Where were you? What were you doing?
They said they didn't want me there.
That makes sense.
Have you heard it, Bracken?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you probably
Yeah,
did
she-
the editing.
She asked me to listen to the whole thing in case she wanted me not to put it up. So I did. I listened to the whole thing
It was
before I put
basically
it
a
up.
Bracken love fest. Like,
Yeah,
I
it was like
expecting
over
way
the
more
top.
trash talk. There was like
I'm
none.
skipping that one. I'm skipping that one for sure.
Yeah, you
then.
won't get anything out of it,
No.
Rich.
No, it's not what I like.
I wanted like juicy details and stuff. And it was just
I
a
am who I
wife who
am.
loves her husband.
I don't hide anything.
Yeah.
We have
I'm a
full squad
bald-
over on RMR Training Podcast. Meg,
Whole squad?
Ryan, me, full squad. Fun time. And that's really it.
How
listen to-
nasty is Kent right now?
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah, I was thinking about this. He told me not to pick him for the Chicago race because I picked him twice now, and he freaking drops the ball whenever I pick him.
I'll
So
have him. That's fine.
I just won't pick him. I guess we could draft for Hyrox.
We know the names.
yeah,
30
it'll
names,
be easy.
10 each.
They'll show up. We won't need to really have any type of waiver system.
Wild
be
card
there.
will just be whoever gets.
I'm definitely
Called
going to
up.
be there. Be
COVID.
like that James Kelly move. Someone doesn't show up. Someone's flight gets canceled. I'm gonna be there. I'll be like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
like 23rd, 25th.
It's going to be shadow boxing in the corner the whole time.
I'm ready. Got my spot at the Sable. BK, where you staying?
How'd you afford the Sable?
I'm balling like that. It's super expensive.
Did you pay
paying
full
for
price?
I did. Powerless paying for one night though.
Jeez. They caught on finally at Sable. They're like, we can jack this up.
If you look at it, like, yeah, the price this weekend is like super affordable. Next weekend too, and then just with the event there, they're jacking it up because
with parking, which is like 70 to 80 a night, you're coming out to like $800 for 2 nights staying there.
Why are you getting
Yeah.
a car in Chicago?
Like if you
Well, he
drive
would
there.
drove.
Oh,
I would.
Okay,
I
good
will
point.
not get a car.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
crazy.
I haven't booked anything
I'm
yet.
staying with Kent.
I might be staying with Rich.
Is Lisa coming?
Yep.
Oh, come on in. I got doubles. I got a double bed, and it's just me right now. We want to triple up. We can do it.
Push the beds together.
On a super bed. I'm down for it.
Call it mega
ener-
bed in
good-
our family.
Me-
We
good
make
energy.
mega bed down in the living room for our Saturday night sleepovers.
Good energy and a mega bed. All right, and then yeah, make sure dialed in, subscribe, share with a friend. That's all for us. Talk to you soon.